Aquagem Environment, Environmental, Engineering, and Management Consultancy. We offer ISO management systems, legal compliance, water and wastewater solutions. Aquagem Environment, leading you to a sustainable future.
So now we need more inspiration, and we are very happy we are back to 100 participants. So to represent our inspirational remarks, which is supposedly to be delivered by our Region 10 Regional Director, we shall have again an equally competent leader in the person of Engineer Suman, the OIC, Chief of Air and Water Quality Monitoring Section of EMB. So please welcome Engineer Suman. Let's all give him virtual claps. Are you in, Engineer? Please unmute.
Hello, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. So, unfortunately, our regional director cannot attend this webinar because he has a schedule for check-up in the hospital. So, instead, I will be delivering his message for all the participants, including the local government units of Cagayan de Oro and Marawi City, and also our partners in the industry. So once again, sir, ma'am, good morning. So our office, EMB10, is very much delighted to be invited in this webinar, which would focus on environmental actions, specifically in the protection of the quality of our water bodies. So we believe that this seminar, which would tackle the National Sewerage Plan, the different wastewater treatment technologies, and other breakthroughs in wastewater treatment, is very timely, especially in our present situation in which the challenges in protecting the public health due to the pandemic is very much connected to the protection of our environment. So COVID-19, as we all know, has severely affected our economy and heavily disrupted our way of life. So multiple agencies, including DENR and EMB, were directed to prevent or mitigate the impact and spread of this virus to our community. So this virus does not only proliferate to air particles, but they also thrive in water bodies, including wastewater. So just a small fact, so fortunately, our country has an ambient temperature of 26.6 degrees Celsius. So the coronavirus thrives less in this country compared to colder countries like Europe and North America, like the US. So in one of the studies in US, it was found that coronavirus at around 23 degrees Celsius stays or thrives only 2 to 4 days in wastewater compared to colder countries that they may thrive more than 14 days. So nevertheless, our office, EMB10, which is mandated to intensively implement the rules and regulations of RA 9275 or the Clean Water Act, actively monitors and regulates industries that discharges wastewater. So actually last year, our office was directed to monitor and regulate industries so that they will disinfect first their effluents or the final discharge before discharging it to the ambient water bodies, like before discharging it to creeks, before discharging it to canals. So they must disinfect it first. So they may use chlorination technologies and other technologies that will destroy these pathogens like the coronavirus. So despite our recent success in regulating industries to reduce the level of fecal coliform, which may contain coronavirus in wastewater effluents, there is still a humongous task. There's still a large task for us in regulating other water quality parameters like BOD, nitrates, phosphates, and ammonia, which became more stringent due to the new guidelines. So the DAO 2016 stricter guidelines compared to the previous standards for these parameters. So we believe that this task will never find its success if our office will only be the one to put a great effort to this endeavor. So it is only through a strong cooperation between our office, DENR-EMB, and also with the local government units and our partners in the private sector that we could finally succeed in protecting and preserving our natural resources. So for this, we would like to enjoin everyone who will participate in this seminar to keenly listen to our experts and actively participate to maximize the learnings and knowledge we could get from this seminar. So once again, we'd like to thank Aquagem Environment for this invitation, and we hope that everyone would learn a lot from this seminar. So once again, maayong buntag, and salamat ma'am and sir for this invitation.
Thank you so much, Engineer Suwan, and that was really very inspiring. Please pass on our sincerest thank you to Engineer Reynaldo S. Digamo. And Engineer Suwan, in behalf of Engineer Digamo, mentioned about the challenging time with the COVID. So hopefully, and you really have that clear end goal in your journey as you outline some of your plans. Now, we hope that with the Aquagem, we can parallel journey with you, because we all have one, like what I said earlier, we are all united by one common goal about our environment. Now, this is not a really very formal webinar. So when I introduce our managing director for the next part, which is the meat of our webinar, one of the important portion of our webinar, I'd like to share with you very briefly how this Aquagem came to be. Our managing director, Cesar Corloncito, is a very good friend of our family. And when he was talking about starting this Aquagem environment, he shared that here in Australia, we have, food, basic needs, we are fine, we are good. We don't really need more. Personally, we have enough here. But when Cecil was sharing why he wanted to put up that Aquagem environment company, he said that we are already towards the sunset of our life. And he said when time comes that he would face God, and God would ask him, "You have lived a good life in Australia. What have you done to your country, the Philippines?" And he started to ponder on this thought and said, "Yes, what can I do to our country?" And that was actually the start of Aquagem, conceptualizing Aquagem with the main mission in our heart, our personal mission, to help our country, and as I have mentioned at the beginning, raise the standard in whatever way we can, bring the good practices which are realistic. We don't want to be unrealistic that we want to bring it, be idealistic, but the reality, it's not. So the good thing about our managing director, he is the most qualified person to talk about things about the environment, working for the DENR counterpart in Australia. It's very rare here in Australia for a Filipino to be able to work in like the counterpart, EPA. That is the counterpart of DENR here in Australia. So having that very special opportunity, Mr. Engineer Carloncito was thinking, this is not just for myself. So he wants to impart and share all these things through Aquagem. So that was how our company started. And like what I said, he will be sharing a lot of things for his talk, which is the National Sewerage Septage Management Plan, and bringing in all the learnings that he has acquired through EPA, or the Australian counterpart of DENR. So please join me in giving a virtual clap to the Managing Director of Aquagem, Engineer Cecil Corloncito.
Maraming salamat, Sister. I call Sister Rose Sister Rosana Balot. I was having an interview with Mang Nathaniel Cruz, and kayong mga Cruz sikat kayo sa Pilipinas, si Mang Nathaniel Cruz at si Ma'am Rosana or si Sister Rosana ay magkapatid. Kaya meron kaming connection konti sa GMA 107. Anyway, before I start, let me acknowledge, we have already our prayer. Also, let me acknowledge also other prayers like from other religion, from the Muslim community, especially that this is for the Region 10, the home of where Marawi City is located. So I would say to the great God, to the glory to the Muslim world. And also, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in Australia, which is the Warren country. They are the traditional owners of the land. We have to acknowledge their past and future generations of these local Aboriginal people. And of course, I have to acknowledge our very own country, the Philippines. Mabuhay. So, thank you. Without much ado, thank you for the opportunity. Unfortunately, yung Zoom natin is limited to 100. So, I was requesting kung merong double account dyan, is giveaway kasi para makapasok yung iba. So, last time when we were having this webinar, it reached more than 100, so we have to upgrade. But unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, we did not expect the turnout na ganun kalabi. Hindi naman ganun kalakasan yung aming marketing dito, except that we connect to the right offices like the regional offices, the office of EMB in Region 10, the CDO or the mayor's office or the government of Cagayan de Oro City, and of course the government of Marawi City, and there's a lot of turnout. Okay, anyway, let me do that much ado. Thank you, Sister Rose, for the kind introduction. And without much ado, let me start this presentation about. First, the topic would be about. This is about the webinar on innovative wastewater management for Region 10 LGUs and industries. So this is focused. The target of this presentation is more LGUs compliance to Clean Water Act and industries, because we know for a fact that in Region 10 there's a lot of industries, especially power industries, and that are governed. So let me also thank the leadership of Mayor Oscar Moreno, ni Ma'am Eileen na nagbigay ng kaniyang welcome address. Let me also acknowledge Engineer Suan. Kumusta na, sir? Long time no see. To the able leadership of RD Ray Digamo. I hope he's doing well or to recover fast from the hospital. Kung ano man ang karamdaman, we pray for your health. And of course, for the city of Marawi, who will be talking during the closing meeting. So thank you, and let me start the presentation. And if there's something wrong with my presentation or audio and video, just give a chat, and our IT will just try to resolve the issues. But I would like to apologize in advance that in this virtual world there's sometimes this kind of problem. So let me start. So Aquagem Environment Pty Limited is the actual name of the company here in Australia, but we have Aquagem Environmental services in locally registered in the Philippines. This Aquagem has been in 1997, but according to Sister Rose, we started in Australia. In 2014, we registered this in Australia, but originally Aquagem was started in 1997. If you look at our logo, Aquagem means water, aqua means water, and gem means precious. If you look, parang diamond ito, na kumikinang. Ang kulay na brown na ito, it shows engineering. Ang kulay na green, it shows environment. At makita mo yung round niya, parang may arrow. It goes about recycling from water that is black. It becomes lighter. Then you use the water. Then it becomes black again. So it's our logo represents what we're doing. Okay, so who we are an environmental engineering and management consulting firm. We're based in Melbourne, and we have a trademark in Australia. The name Aquagem Environment has a trademark in Australia and applicable all over the world. We have 3 main services. Tatlo ang aming serbisyo na binibigay. Mainly, we are expert in ISO management system, like quality management system, environmental management system, and occupational health and safety management system. These are management system standards, and we are proud to tell you that we were the consultant who helped EMB to be the first environmental regulator in the world to become ISO 14000 certified way back in 2001. With the help of USA then, when I was their consultant. So it was confirmed by ISO in Geneva, Switzerland, that the first environmental regulator in the world was EMB. Then we are also proud to tell you that we are the consultant of EMB Central Office, or not EMB Central Office only, DENR Central Office, with a workforce of 20,000 to get certified to the latest version of ISO 14000, which is the Environmental Management System 2015 version, and so on. So we are now focused, and just recently, I would like to congratulate EMB Central Office through the able leadership of Engineer William Pinado to get the latest certification of the whole EMB, to get that certification of Quality Management Systems ISO 9000, and we are also the ISO 14000 consultant. So congratulations, we are proud to be part of their success. And what does it mean? It means that when they have a good management system, then their policy making aspect towards the environment would be like walking the talk. So kung sila ay certified at ina-audit ng third-party auditor, so what more can we ask kung hindi the best from the policy making body of the central office of the DENR or AMB. Another service that we give is we provide legal assistance or legal compliance assistance. For example, we conduct feasibility study on sewerage, on solid waste, and at least we also help gain or achieve discharge permit, discharge permit, or environmental compliance certificate. We help even to advise what to do with the interpretation of Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act, the 9003, the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act. We also give that kind of services. And also, we design and build water and waste treatment facilities. So we are not really only a consulting firm, but when we have been building also treatment plants. So we are not really limited to being a designer, but we also have built, hindi lang magbibuild pa, but we have already existing facility being installed all over the Philippines. So those are the 3 main services, and that's how Aquagem, that's our core services, and we are ready to offer you our services if you need one. So for examples of our services, I just highlighted Aquagem Environment is the consultant of quality management systems for DENR-EMB central offices and regions 2, 3, 6, and of course Region 10. That's why kilala natin yung mga taga Region 10, and we can help you facilitate ang word natin yan, how to comply with the policy of the EMB para magkaintindihan at paano ang LGU makasunod. We are the quality management system consultant of these offices of EMB. We are also the environmental management systems consultant for the DNR Central Office, as I mentioned, the EMB Central Office, and also the first regional office to gain the certification of ISO 14000, no less than EMB Region 2. So you will notice kung saang mga region kami nakarating. Region 2, Region 6, Region 3, Region 10. We have conducted another study, a feasibility study for sewerage, septage, and wastewater treatment for the protection of Lake Buhi in EMB Region 5. Lake Buhi is the home of the smallest fish in the world, the sinarapan. So I'm not an expert on that. You can Google that, but that is the home. Then we have also finished the feasibility study. I would like also to tell you, and I would like to acknowledge EMB Region 4B. I think nandyan si Ma'am Catherine Tupasi, who was the one in charge in our conduct of the feasibility study for sewerage, septage, and wastewater treatment plant protection of Calapan River in Calapan, Mindoro, through the able leadership of EMB Regional Director Attorney Mike. Next is the feasibility study for sewerage, septage, and wastewater treatment for the protection of the waters of Panglao Island, my home province in Bohol province. So we have just finished also the study, and the latest achievement that we have is we are proud to tell you that we have finished the 20-year solid waste master plan for Bangon Marawi. You know Bangon Marawi's history. I cannot tell more about Bangon Marawi, but during the pandemic, we are really happy to tell you that during the pandemic, we were able to deliver their 20-year, yung 9003, 10-year lang yun. But Bangon Marawi, through the able leadership of EMB Region 10, requires us to deliver 20-year solid waste master plan up to 2040. Okay, so those are just the highlights of our projects on consultancy. Let me also show you the highlights of our projects in wastewater treatment facility. Okay, these are the pictures, by the way, pala doon sa ating sa Lake Buhi. Nandito si Regional Director Abo, the dating Regional Director ng Region 4B. No, namasyal kami doon sa Lake Buhi. Ito yung nakuhang isda. Hindi ko alam kung ito ba yung isda na pinakamaliit, but this is the famous Mount Mayon, where nung pumutok ang Mount Mayon na naapektuhan ang Lake Buhi. We visited Manila Waters wastewater treatment facility in Manila, in Novaleches, with two regional directors, yung former regional director at yung current regional director. So yun ang wakma nila. Ito yung aming Lake Buhi Watershed National Solid Waste National Sewerage and Septage Management Plan. Libro yung dineliver namin para merong guidelines to protect Lake Buhi. Then Bangon Marawi. Sos Mariose, pagbisita namin doon, ang daming problema. And this is Lake Lanao. We are going to try to protect Lake Lanao by putting up a proper solid waste master plan. So kawawa din ang ground zero ng Bangon Marawi if you look at the picture. So ito yung mga taga-Region 10. Mga taga-Region 10 na EMB. We were consulted, and I'm happy to share with you na successful din talaga ito at certified din sila ng quality management system. So you are in good hands, taga-Region 10. Protection of Calapan River in Calapan City, yun. Nandun kami ng Oriental Mindoro. Kumuha kami ng sample sa kanilang market na may marumi at we were analyzing them. And this is the WACMA of Calapan River Water Quality Management Board, headed by Attorney Mike. Okay, so ito si Attorney Mike at ito si Catherine dito. So yun, isang proof. Now, for the protection of waters of Panglao, my beloved province in the Philippines. So ito yun. The pristine beaches, we want to protect this. And I'm happy to share to you that tapos na yung kanilang NSSMP at meron na silang investor to put up a centralized wastewater treatment facility. So I would like to congratulate belated happy birthday to the Mayor of Panglao. Nag-celebrate siya ng kanyang kaarawan nung the other day. Ito naman si Kagawad Noel Hormachuelos, ang chairman sa environment. Nagkaroon kami ng public consultation sa lahat ng barangay sa Panglao Island, sa Panglao Municipality para maintindihan nila kung ano itong project natin. Well, with that, those are just what we are showing to you is our proof that we have been doing this work. What is the scope of this feasibility study, by the way? So we deliver technical and engineering study. We design the septage, the sewerage, and centralized wastewater treatment plant. We conduct financial analysis. Siyempre, meron ka ng design. Magkano ba yon? So we conduct financial analysis of the cost of septage, sewerage, and wastewater infrastructure, and also help in the sourcing of investors and funders. We conducted the environmental impact assessment. We conducted the environmental impact assessment of this. Let me unmute the other participants. So we have conducted the environmental impact assessment of the infrastructures. So ibig sabihin, pag tinayo itong mga wastewater treatment, mga sewerage, merong maapektuhan mga kalsada, maapektuhan mga ngamoy siguro, at yung barangay, gusto ba nila magkaroon? Para ding basurahan ito, then we conduct environmental impact assessment to this infrastructure. We also do capacity building measures, how to manage, operate, and maintain this infrastructure. And above all, we help the local government units support the passage of city, municipal ordinance to capacitate LGUs and to sustain the operation of the sewage and sewerage and wastewater treatment facility. So those are the scope of the study. And this study is patterned by the terms of reference by the Environmental Management Bureau. So sila ang gumawa ng nito at sinunod lang natin para matulungan natin ang mga LGU. Now, aside from that consultancy, we construct, as I mentioned, we design and build wastewater treatment facility. On your picture, ito yung mga iba't ibang mga installation namin. Our biggest installation is in Green Future Innovation in San Mariano, Isabela, Cagayan, where we put up a centralized or a big wastewater treatment facility. Alam mo ninyo, ang BOD or ang pollutant nito ay 90,000. So kung ang sewage natin ay 300 lang, ito ay 90,000 ang pollutant. And Aquagem design and build at I would like to tell you, kadili-dili na ito, daming problema, but they have passed the standard of the DENR, yung bagong standard na pinafacilitate ng EMB Region 2. So these are small hospitals, cooperative hospital in Tagbilaran, Dampas. We also have hospitals in Cebu, yung Siman Hospital, and these are small wastewater treatment plants for hospitals. If we solve hospital wastewater treatment plant, kayong taga-LGO, kayong mga sa industry, ang hospital, kung ma-solve natin ang wastewater treatment plant, parang na-solve na rin ninyo yung 50% of pollution in an area kasi pinakagrabe ang wastewater pag nanggagaling siya sa hospital. O kayong nag-ooperate sa hospital, nag-design ho kami ng mga hospital treatment plants. Talagang dinesign namin because we know that when we target this risk, we can solve the problem of a certain locality, the LGO, in any place in the Philippines. So these are other places. We have also the slaughterhouse in the municipality of Gindolman in Bohol. We have also the Isabela United Doctors Medical Center at ka-install na ngayon yung Tugigaraw, yung tinatawag na Cagayan United Doctors Medical Center, ka-install din namin sa hospital doon sa San Juan Tabuk. kung saan-saan kami makarating to help hospitals. So those are pictures of finished product. So the next slide would be I'm sharing to you that in Panglao municipality, we have analyzed in our survey that 63% of wastewater, 63% of wastewater comes from the residential area, and 37 comes from commercial or the resort. So kayong taga-EMB or yung mga taga-EMB, especially taga-Region 7 na EMB or yung taga-Region 6 na EMB or even lahat ng taga-EMB, if you are going to focus only on the commercial establishment, you are not really going to solve the pollution as in Panglao. Kung 37 lang ang hinahabol ng EMB, yung 63% ay mataas, the pollution in Panglao Island, in waterways of Panglao, will not be solved. Just like what happened in Boracay, napuno na ng mga discharge permit yung mga industry sa Boracay, pero nagkaroon ng sinara ni President Duterte kasi nag-report yung tourism secretary na puro na siya cesspool. Bakit? Because the one being addressed or the one being regulated, and napakadaling i-regulate ang commercial establishment at ang residential establishment ay hindi naman natin mariregulate yan, pero ang LGU ang may responsibility niyan. So let me discuss that later on. So look at this record, and it will show you this situation. Okay, so according to the new standard ng DENR, ito yung mga pollutant ng karamihan ng mga wastewater sa mga domestic waste na gagaling sa ating mga bahay, sa mga industry, at yung mga domestic waste. Ito yung standard. Itong BOD, at mahirap na i-explain ng mabuti ito, but I would try to say nga, ang meaning ng BOD as hindi board of director na biochemical oxygen demand. Ang biochemical oxygen demand in layman's term, sa word in itself na oxygen demand, so nagdi-demand siya ng oxygen, ibig sabihin, ang water is kulang na sa oxygen. So kung ang biochemical oxygen demand ay napakataas na, then wala nang buhay ang water. That's why you need to come up with a solution. Ang ammonia is a chemical, no need to explain further that that's a toxic chemical. Oil and grease is yung mga langis. Karamihan ito nanggagaling sa kitchen. Ang nitrate and phosphate ay nanggagaling ito sa mga tinatawag na mga nutrients. At ito yung dahilan na nagkaroon ng mga fish scale because of nitrate and phosphate, yung tinatawag na algal bloom. Ang surfactants, I would like to tell you, nanggagaling ito sa sabon. Mga surfactants ay nanggagaling sa sabon at fecal coliform, of course, nanggagaling din sa ating mga dumi, may mga coliform at nakikita ninyo yung mga measures ng coliform. So these are the limits of the standard. Yung Class B effluent, Class B ang nilagay ko dito, ang Class C dito 50. Ang Class C sa fecal coliform is 400. Ang surfactants yata nakalimutan ko ito is Class C, I think 15. Maybe na. So ito yung standard na dapat susundin para sa kalaman ng lahat. Dapat sumunod tayo sa standard na ito para ang DENR ay hindi tayo hahabulin. I would like to tell you the new policy. Ngayon na lang 2021 ang palugit ng EMB DENR. According to the law, kailangan sa ngayon na lang ay ang last na para sa akin ngayong Marso dapat palugit yan or kasi Marso yata or Mayo yata pinost yun. But I think EMB decided na hanggang katapusan na lang daw ng 2021. Binigyan pa kayo ng pagkakataon. But strictly, dapat sa Mayo ay illegal na kayong lahat kung hindi kayo nakasunod dito. Okay. Now, what do you mean by seepage management practice? So, I want to emphasize this and I would like to emphasize this very clearly kasi ang daming mga nagninegosyo sa atin na ang kanilang ini-implement ay seepage management lamang because the law states about seepage, hindi ang Clean Water Act, kung hindi ang Sanitation Code of the Philippines or ang LOA law nagsasabi na kailangang sip-sipin daw ang mga septic tank every 5 years. I will explain to you later why it cannot comply with the Clean Water Act. Septic management is a business establishments are required. Septic tank, kailangan ng septic tank bago mag-issue ang local government ng building permit. That's according to the building code. Kasi di ba ang local government mag-issue ng building permit at kailangan meron kang septic tank. Ang old septic tanks, may mga design ng araw, ay hindi, buong Pilipinas na ito, na yung pangatlong chamber or yung last chamber percolates to the ground. Pero yung new septic tank ngayon must be completely sealed. Biro mo, mag-percolate sa ground yung last chamber because nung araw, yung percolation sa ground, yung ground in itself is a treatment in itself. Pero nagbago na ngayon yan sa bagong standard. Bagong standard ngayon is to make sure that septic tanks must be completely sealed. Treatment facility yan, hindi yan storage ng waste. I will explain later on to explain to you in layman's term kung bakit mali yung pagkaisip ninyo na may septic tank yan ay storage. Domestic wastewater has 300 ppm or parts per million or milligrams per liter of pollutive. Now, if domestic wastewater has 300 ppm, tapos i-dislodge daw yun every 5 years according to Water District Law, according to Sanitation Code of the Philippines, Water Code requirements, that is to be dislodged every 5 years. So, yung mga nagbi-business ngayon about septage, yung sumisip-sip, at meron silang dinalhan na treatment plan, okay lang yon. Basta ma-verify ng EMB, dapat mang EMB, yun ang hindi clear kung EMB ba ang mag-verify sa kanila, kung maninipsip ba sila. Sabi nila, DOH daw. This has to be clarified. This has to be clarified kasi karamihan ang naninipsip. Hindi naman yan sinisipsip to comply with 5 years. Sinipsip yan dahil umapaw na kanila ang mga septic tank nila at nangangamoy na sila. Sinisipsip. Pagkasipsip, ilipat lang nila tapon sa gabi. Mga indiscriminate discharges of wastewater. At yan ay totoo at hindi ako nagbibintang, yan ay totoo at nakikita namin yan. Even in Panglao, nakikita na uhulihan. Septage wastewater has high. Itong septage na sinisipsip, yung pang-apat na, pang-unang chamber, has very high 2,000 to 3,000 pollutant. Kasi yung unang chamber, doon na pupundo yung mga dumi. So yun ang septage. So kung mag-design ka ng septage treatment plant, hindi 300 ppm ang design basis, kung hindi 3,000 ppm ang design basis. Tandaan natin yan. Suction by and hauled by trucks and nobody knows where it goes, but legally it should go to a septic treatment facility. That is a septic management practice. Now, I will demonstrate to you. Siguro mayroon nang nakakita sa inyo dito, but bear with me kasi para sa hindi nakakita, I would like to emphasize this. Yung isang turista, for example, doon sa Bohol, na-analyze namin na ang isang turista, itong mga turista, ang lakas gumamit ng tubig dahil nagbayad na sila, hindi naman sa kanila yung tubig, hindi sila nagbabayad ng metro, nagbayad sila sa resort, consume 180 liters per day. And that's an actual analysis in a resort. So, for example, without naming the resort, ang isang resort ay mayroong 100 na nakatira. I-multiply mo ng 180 per day yan. So, ang labas is 18,000 liters per day ang wastewater. Tama ba ako? So, ang 18,000, kung i-divide mo ng 1,000 yan, ay 18 cubic meter ang ma-generate ng resort na yan na mayroong 100 person sa isang araw. So, take note 18. So kung ang septic tank, karamihan, ilagay na lang natin, minamaximize ko ang design ng septic tank. Kung ito yung septic tank, first chamber, second chamber, at third chamber ng septic tank. Ito. So ang septic tank, hindi ko na lang kayo tanongin, ako na lang magbibigay sa inyo ng dimension. Ang dimension ng septic tank ay length na 3 meters ang haba, may width siya na kapal na 2 meters, at may height at may depth na 1.5 meters. Kung you multiply this 3 times 2 times 1.5, ang lalabasan nito is how much? Ang septic tank ninyo ay 9 cubic meter lang. Kaya huwag kayong magsasabi sa EMB, na nasa septic tank namin yung aming waste. Anong ibig sabihin nito? 18 cubic meter ang generate ng hotel nito. Meron lang siyang septic tank na 9 cubic meter. Sa kalahating araw lang, puno na siya. Paano mo sasabihin na pinundo ninyo ang tubig? So, huwag kayo taga-EMB, lalo na yung mga engineer sa EMB, huwag kayong maniniwala na napupundo ang tubig nila. Talagang hindi sila makaka-comply kung volume lang ang pag-uusapan. Kung septic tank lang, naintindihan ba natin ito? At kailangan natin ipaintindi ito at kailangan natin sabihin sa mga authority, sa CDO, sa Marawi, na hindi makakomply yung septic tank lang sa Clean Water Act. Volume lang ang pinag-usapan natin yan, ha? Pag-usapan na natin ang quality, yung tinatawag nating pollutant. Siyempre, septic tank, papasok yung wastewater galing sa mga resort na ito, mapupuno. Ang itim sa first chamber, sa second chamber, medyo malinaw-linaw na. At sa fourth chamber, sa third chamber, ay malinis na. Okay. Ano yung sinabi ko kanina? Sinabi ko kanina na ang pollutant ng ating mga wastewater sa ating mga domestic waste ay 300 ppm. Kung 50% lang ang na-remove ng septic tank, 50%. Ano ang output natin? Kung 50% ng 300, ano yung lumabas? 350, naalala ba ninyo kung ano yung standard na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina? Naalala ninyo kung ano yung standard na pinakita ko kanina? O ibalik ko? Ibalik ko para maalala ninyo? Ibalik ko, talagang ibalik ko sa inyo kung ano yung standard para baka nakalimutan ninyo. Ano yung standard na pinakita ko kanina? 30 ang standard. 30. Ngayon ang septic tank, ano nga yung lumabas sa septic tank? I-forward ko na naman. Gagawa ko ng presentation sa ng sunod-sunod. Hindi, tingnan nyo. Tingnan nyo kung anong nangyayari. Ang output ng septic tank ay 50. So, kayo nagkiklaim, kung sinong nagkiklaim na resort na yan, o nagkiklaim kayo mga industry, or ang LGU nagkiklaim na meron kang septic tank, hindi ka makapasa ng Clean Water Act. Sabi ba ng Clean Water Act, pwede na yan? Hindi, walang sinasabing exemption. So, yung septic tank by means of volume and by means of quality ay siguradong failure. So, EMB, huwag kayong maniniwala dyan. Isyuhan mo yan ng non-compliance or notice of violation yung mga industry na nagkiklaim na ang septic tank nila ay hindi ay makakapasa na. Hindi totoo yan. At mayroon din sinasabi, hindi, nakakapasa yan. Pag nakapasa yung mga may septic tank lang, wala silang treatment plant, ang isa lang ang ibig sabihin noon. Nakakapasa yan. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay tubig na yung lumabas, malinis na tubig. It's either kumuha sila ng sample doon sa gripo or na-dilute na yan. Sinasabi ang standard, dilution is not the solution to pollution. So huwag kayo maniwala taga-EMB ng dilution dahil hindi yan magkapasa. So that's the premise of why I'm telling you about this. This is the premise that septage management alone will not pass Clean Water Act. Okay. Ito yung Clean Water Act. Ang Clean Water Act requires that every discharge should be equal to the beneficial use of the water body o nga doon ka nagtatapon. Kung ano ang beneficial use ng panglaw, for example, naliligo tayo sa panglaw, Class B yun. Ang Class C, hindi pwedeng hawakan ang Class C. Okay, so 150 ppm pa lang lumabas ng septic tank. kailangan ng wastewater treatment plant para magiging 30 to 50 ppm ang pollutant. So pinag-usapan lang natin yung BOD. Hindi ko na sinama yung ibang pollutant dahil too technical na yan. Bigay na natin yun sa mga PCO at mga technical expert. You need to have wastewater treatment plant to be allowed to discharge for Class C or Class B to marine or inland water. So that's very clear. And ang EMB ngayong taon na to, I will be very busy running after this facility na hindi makakomply dito. Now let's talk about sewerage and septage management. So kanina septage lang dinemonstrate ko, sewerage management naman ang pinag-usapan natin. Sewerage is a reticulation or conveyance network. It can be combined storm and sewerage system. Ano ba yung combined storm? Tayo mga bayan-bayan ngayon, nung gumawa ng kalsada yung mga kontraktor natin, ay kung minsan, meron na silang kanal ng storm yon. Kung maayos yung kontraktor na yon, meron silang kanal, or maayos yung TOR ng LGU, meron silang kanal. Yung combined storm and sewerage is to convert that that storm drainage into combined storm. Pwede ang ulan at pwede ang sewerage. Yun ang isang paraan na yan. At karamihan ng mga urban centers ay ganun ang gagawin para hindi mapamahal. Pero yung isa, halimbawa sa Panglao, ang pinopropose namin is a stand-alone conventional sewerage system. Stand-alone, ibig sabihin, separate pa yung storm at separate pa yung sewerage. And there are many advantages kung combine, kung stand-alone yan. That is our recommendation so far sa Lake Buhe. Recommendation namin is a combination yata sa combined storm and sewerage and stand-alone doon sa Kalapan. Pero sa Panglao, we recommend na stand-alone conventional system. Yung mga highly urban area, mahirap na yung tinatawag na stand-alone. Pwede yun combined storm. Okay. The discharge from septic system can be connected to a sewerage network. Yung discharge sa mga septic tank ay pwedeng may nagsasabi at karamihan na rinig ko, hindi na kailangan even from DENR, hindi na kailangan niya ng septic tank kung nakakonect na sila sa centralized treatment plant. I would say that's not correct. First, legally, you are not allowed to put up a facility an infrastructure kung wala kang septic tank according to building code. Violation ka na. Pero, pangalawa, kung may septic tank ka, hindi 300 ngayon ang ppm ang wastewater na lalabas sa'yo, kung hindi 150 na lang. So it will, the centralized treatment plant will not be having a difficulty kasi mas maliit na lang ang kanyang gagawin kung may septic tank na yung mga industry. So I would recommend na kung may septic tank, kung ang mga bagong industry, kayong mga taga-LGU, huwag ninyong sabihin, may centralized treatment plant. You have to make sure and implement ang septic tank. At doon na tatapos ang trabaho ng LGU. Kasi ang trabaho ng LGU hanggang septic tank lang at hindi covered yan ng EMB. Paglabas ng septic tank, yun ang responsibility ng EMB. I hope you can distinguish between your roles, LGU and EMB. Ang EMB starts when septic tank is discharging. Hindi na rule ngayon yan ng LGU about discharge. Walang technical capability ang LGU about the standard. Wala pa, hindi pa na ipasa sa EMB nila. Although the law said na pwede nang ipasa at ma-train yan ang mga taga-LGU. But legally, ang EMB has the mandate to make sure na yung tinatapon from septic tank. So kung ako ang taga-EMB, mas gusto kong na may septic tank kasi kung wala man lang treatment plant, ay at least na ang discharge nila ay mabawasan. Pero hindi pa rin nakapasayan, sara pa rin yan. Sewerage flows to centralized wastewater treatment plant designed to meet parameters, yung mga pollutant na sinasabi ko. Industrial wastewater must be pre-treated. We are talking about domestic wastewater. Pero yung industrial wastewater, nanggagaling sa mga chemical factory, nanggagaling sa mga power plant, meron silang kakaibang klase ng wastewater. So kailangan nila ng pre-treatment bago i-connect sa centralized wastewater treatment facility. Okay. Now, how about septage? Ang septage din Kasi di ba sinasabi ko sewerage and septage, hindi pwedeng mawala ang septage din. Septage can be treated to a centralized wastewater treatment plant. Pero ang centralized wastewater treatment plant must have a sludge primary treatment, sludge removal primary treatment. It can be hauled by trucks to the wastewater treatment central or discharge. Dito sa Australia, meron ding septage dito. Sinisip-sip ng mga truck sa mga malalayong lugar. Pero dinidischarge siya sa mga nearest manhole sa sewage pumping station na malapit sa network. So hindi na kailangan ikakarga at dadalhin sa centralized. Kasi by traffic also, that will be an issue. So pwedeng i-discharge siya directly sa centralized or pwedeng ilagay sa manhole or doon sa pumping station ng sewerage na pinakamalapit. Yun ang septage. Now, ito yung facts. Tapos na ba yung sinasabi ko tungkol doon? So ito yung facts nito. The on-site wastewater versus centralized wastewater. Ang problema kasi sa ating batas sa Pilipinas is hindi malinaw at hindi sinasabi clearly sa Clean Water Act kung required ba yun or hindi mandated na karoon ng centralized wastewater treatment facility. The only law that says about centralized wastewater treatment facility is yung Maynilad at Manila Water. Nagkaroon sila ng permahan na privatize yung Maynilad at Manila Water at kanilang responsibility to put up a centralized wastewater treatment facility. Otherwise, the Clean Water Act did not specify that except for the following. Ano ba itong facts na ito? Sewerage and septage with centralized wastewater treatment plant is more effective to protect waterways than on-site wastewater treatment plant. I have all the litany of experience kung bakit totoo ito and I will give you some. Yung centralized wastewater treatment plant is more effective than on-site wastewater treatment plant. Una, yung centralized wastewater treatment plant ay ino-operate yan ng mga expert ng centralized or ng expert ng wastewater treatment plant. Alangan naman magkaroon ka ng centralized wastewater treatment plant, for example, Maynilad ka or Manila Water, na ipa-operate mo yan ng mga nagluluto sa hotel. Whereas yung on-site wastewater treatment plant, yung mga hotel owners, mga hospital owners, they are not expert on wastewater treatment. They are expert ng mga taga-hotel, expert sila sa mga tourism. So, centralized is more effective kasi ang nag-ooperate niyan ay mas maayos. Pangalawa, kahit matatalino at maayos yung mga nandyan sa on-site, may mga pollution control sila, officer na mga chemical engineer na nakapag-train, na pagka pera na ang pinag-usapan, marami na akong nakikita na ang mga on-site wastewater treatment plant ay pagaganahin lang kung bumibisita ang taga-EMB at DNR. Kasi, bakit? Ang wastewater treatment plant na tinayo ninyo ay mayroong kuryenteng malaki at sa hirap ng panahon ngayon sa mga hospital, lalo na yung mga hospital na nagkukumahog at hindi government at walang budget, papatayin nila yung wastewater treatment plant hanggang bumisita ang EMB. Alam ninyo, pag pinatay ninyo ang wastewater treatment plant, patay din yung bakterya na yan. Pag patay ang bakterya, hindi yan pareho ng kuryente na pag switch on ninyo, nandyan na yan. So, yun ang isa sa mga many advantages. Pangatlo, ito ay para sa para sa EMB. Kung on-site ang pag-uusapan natin dahil walang centralized treatment plant, ang EMB, hahabulin niya lahat ng tao sa buong Pilipinas. Meron bang kakayahan ng EMB na maghabol sa pinakamaliit na sari-sari store sa pinakamalaking power plant dyan sa CDO? Kayong taga-EMB Region 10, kaya ba ninyo yan? Alam ko ang budget ninyo diyan sa ano ba yung EMB nagmo-monitor dito, yung monitoring division na yan. Hindi ninyo kaya, kabisado ko yung budget ng EMB, hindi ninyo kayang mag-monitor sa lahat. So, yung centralized wastewater treatment plant, nakakunik na lahat ng industry. Isa na lang ang i-monitor ng EMB. So, kung meron lang akong kakayahan na i-monitor, i-recommend sa Congress na baguhin yung batas, dapat centralized wastewater treatment plant lang, sana meron. Wala tayong kakayahan. Even being a consultant, our voice will not be heard. That's why, dito na lang sa social media o sa webinar natin pinapakita kung paano ito gagawin. Now, it is cheaper to connect to a sewerage network than to build your own and operate your own on-site wastewater treatment plant. Mas mura yung pipe kaysa bumili ka ng treatment facility. Pangatlo, ang Clean Water Act nagsasabi, hindi nga clear ang centralized wastewater treatment plant. Yun ang sinabi ko kanina. But sinabi ng Clean Water Act, connection is required in highly urbanized cities. Kahit Cebu City, kahit Cagayan de Oro City, wala namang sewerage. But ina-assume ngayon ng Clean Water Act na you have to connect to a sewerage network. Ang meron lang sewerage network siguro ngayon realistically ay yung mga bagong development ng mga housing development. Kasi nire-require sila ng EMB na magkaroon ka ng at you have to connect to that. But paglabas doon, saan na papunta yon? So there is no centralized sewerage network in highly urbanized city except Metro Manila because of originally doon sa Cubao o sa Makati yan eh. Yung nandiyan sa Magallanes, yun ang unang the rest nothing. Except na nagtayo yung Manila Water at Maynila. But Cebu City, Cagayan de Oro City, Iloilo City, meron ba? Wala. So there is going to be a failure. On-site wastewater treatment is required by DENR. Okay. There is no volumetric threshold sa Clean Water Act in regulating discharges. Yun ang sinasabi ko. Hindi tulad sa Australia na sinabi ng Australian na batas, lahat ng gumagamit ng tubig ng 5,000 liters and above ay i-monitor ng EMB dito or ang EPA dito. Diyan sa Clean Water Act, single drop of water. So ibig sabihin technically lahat tayo ay makukulong kung hindi tayo sumunod. So ang EMB ay hahabulin niya ang DENR, lahat ng establishment hanggang ito pa masama. Yung hindi ko naman tinuturo yung ang integrity ng EMB at hindi ko kini-question, but ito yung masama. Kung maraming regulasyon at maraming nire-regulate, there is a tendency na ang mga hinahabol natin mga regulator, sir, ikaw na lang, paano bang gawin ko dito, sir? So there is a tendency na maraming arigluhan diyan. At nakikita ko at I can stand in court kung sino yung nakikita ko. Hindi naman ako dito magsusumbong kung hindi kami ang magsasabi kung ano ang dapat. On-site wastewater is required by DENR in every commercial establishment, and yet the budget of EMB is not enough to run after these people. So how can you say compliant? Now, household domestic sewage is not regulated directly by DENR. Pero ang batas nagsasabi na ang local government unit must have national sewerage and septic management plan with DPWH and DOH. Yun ang Section 7 and 8 of the Clean Water Act. Okay, so in local ordinance, kung wala sa Clean Water Act, Republic Act 9275, nakalimutan ko mga numero na to. Kung wala sa Clean Water Act yung mandate na yan, walang sinabi na ang Clean Water Act ay mataas sa local government code. Republic Act 7160 is the local government code. Kayong mga LGU, merong kayong malaking power, equally the same power as Clean Water Act to put up ordinance para mandatory connection, mandatory sewerage. Pwede kayong gumawa niyan at ang kulang na lang natin dito ang pera. So I will discuss that later kung paano natin ang pera diyan, kasi tulad sa Panglao na magkaroon sila ng local government na merong mandatory connection, naiinganyo ngayon yung investor na mag-put up ng centralized wastewater kasi mababawi niya ang kanyang investment. Pero I will also tell you na hindi yung investor basta-basta magdidikta kung anong terms of preference. The one who will dictate is the local government, at yung Panglao, sinabihan ko na sumunod ang investor sa inyo kung ano ang dapat ninyong gagawin. Hindi yung investor dahil sila ang may pera ang masusunod. So kailangan ang local government ay masusunod because the community will be paying for this. Hindi pwedeng libre ito ang pag-treat. So LGU has the power to do this. Okay. Now, in Panglao, ito yung nangyayari. Ang wastewater and sewerage infrastructure cost. Grabe yung cost ng sewerage. 1 billion. 300 million lang ang wastewater. So this is being analyzed. So ang sewerage infrastructure is more expensive, and that is the reality. So yung tinatabing willingness to pay, according to our survey, willingness to support wastewater infrastructure. Ang residential area, gusto nila, yes. Ang commercial, yes, majority din, they are willing to pay. Willingness to pay the wastewater infrastructure, sabi ng residential, yes. Pero ang industry, kung minsan matitigas ang ulo, ayaw na hindi na nila alam. Siguro gusto nila magtayo ng sarili at ayaw magbayad. Now, I will give you an example. Buying sewage treatment plant versus connecting to STP. Case study. Ito 50 room. Ito yung the same room na in-example ko kanina. 100 person, 18 cubic meter. Ang daily fee ng pag-put up ng wastewater is 1,254. Monthly fee is 37. Yearly fee 457, kalahating milyon to connect to a sewer. Okay? So kung nag-connect ka ng sewer, tapos ito yung billing system na ito, sa isang taon, itong hotel na ito, kailangan gagastos ng almost kalahating milyon para to put up, para to pay for connecting. Buying ay NSTP, pwede naman bumili siya dahil walang sewerage. 3 million ang karamihan ng treatment pa na mayroong 20 cubic meter per day. Ang OPEX niyan, kung ikumpara ito, is 1.7 years, mababawi na din niya ito kung bumili siya. So, ang break-even dito is 10.36 years kung bumili ka. Now, ang tanong ko kasi, bumili ka. Pag bumili ka ngayon, ang break-even mo 10.36 years. So, with that, what will happen is that you can decide what to do with your decision of buying or connecting to a facility. Okay, so ito naman ang multi-criteria analysis natin para to piliin natin kung anong dapat na technology. The next presenter will be discussing about the different kinds of technology. So there are financial analysis also that we are doing. We can share you how to come up with financial analysis and of different technology. We can share we can really help you put up that. And I will, that's another thing that before I go is we help local government unit put up a terms of preference kung kailangan ninyo ng aming tulong sa consultancy, hindi niyo alam kung paano magpa-fill chips. Tulungan ko kayong gumawa ng terms of preference. Tulungan ka ng Aquagem. Tulungan ka namin din kayong mga LGU or industry to analyze kung paano i-analyze yung multi-criteria analysis to select which technology you would like. But before I can give you that help, let me present to you, or let me give you back to Rosana Balod to introduce to the next speaker who will talk about the different kinds of treatment facility na ang Aquagem ay mayroong kakayahan sa lahat ng mga treatment technology na yan. Hindi lang kami nang pumipili ng isa, kung hindi, depende yan sa ating client. So with that, I would stop my sharing here and I would give you the floor to Reus Balod to introduce to the next speaker. I hope Naria or Engineer Che is ready, and I hope you were able to gain something from my presentation. Thank you, and see you when I present the parting technology that I'm going to present to you later.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Carloncito. Now, we shall leave the question and answer portion last so that we can stick to our schedule. So we'll go to the next one, which is the comparison of the different wastewater treatment technologies. And we have a very young expert who will be talking about this. She has a very diversified experience also on wastewater management in the Philippines and also in California. So I give you our young expert, Miss Naria Ilagan, a graduate also of the University of the Philippines and currently enrolled here in Australia.
Naria, let me unmute.
We're just transferring the hosting to Engineer.
Yeah, let me give the hosting to Naria. Hold on for a while. Naria, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Let me give you the hosting for a while. Where is your name here?
Yep. So while waiting
Uh,
for
yeah. So you're not the host, Nadia, and take it away.
Okay, so can everybody hear me?
yes.
Yes, okay.
Or-
So, yeah. So, good morning. I'm Naria Ilagan, and today I will be presenting a comparison of the various wastewater treatment technologies. So, this is a technical presentation, so please bear with me. So, our discussion will be covering three major points, namely the wastewater treatment overview, the different wastewater treatment configurations, and the feasibility study conducted by Aquagem Environment involving these. Now, let us start by first reviewing what wastewater treatment is all about. So in the Philippines, we have a number of environmental regulatory compliance requirements mandated by various laws. So one of these is RA 9275, or the Clean Water Act, as what Sir Cecil discussed earlier. So it stipulates not only the importance of wastewater treatment, but also the standards that should be met to ensure the protection of the water bodies that receive the treated wastewater. Since, as we all know, water continuously moves within the earth and the atmosphere through the water cycle. So aside from being required by the law, I believe that it is our social and environmental responsibility to ensure that wastewater is properly treated. We all owe it to one another, as no man can survive without water. So if we don't do our part, it will result to contamination of our water bodies, which could be toxic to aquatic life and human beings due to the degradation of its quality. So consequently, it could cause the spread of diseases, loss of biodiversity, and even climate change. So what happens when we treat wastewater? How do we do it, you might ask? So generally, there are 4 levels of treatment involved in a wastewater treatment plant. These are the preliminary treatment, the primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. So we will be discussing each in the following slides. Initially, wastewater, if domestic, these will come from toilets, kitchens, and sinks. Coming from sewer lines will flow into the facility by initially passing through a screening process. So solid wastes such as rags and debris are removed through screens of various sizes, such as core screens, which cater to solids which are greater than 6 millimeters in size, and fine screens for solids which are less than 6 millimeters in size. So even the smaller particles like sand and gravel and hair are extracted in the grit removal. This is essential to not only ensure proper treatment, but also to protect the mechanical assets, mainly the pumps of the plant. So afterwards, it will flow through an equalization tank. This could be an aerated tank wherein oxygen is supplied to facilitate mixing. Since the incoming wastewater may have different parameter levels, such as its pH, BOD, or the oxygen needed to naturally degrade pollutants, and COD, or the oxygen needed to chemically oxidize pollutants, among others, mixing is what is needed to homogenize its quality to meet the design specifications of the facility. Now, from the preliminary treatment, it will pass through a primary settling tank or sedimentation tank. So this process slows down the flow of the wastewater to allow the organic solids or the raw sludge to settle by gravity. This process produces 2 products, namely the sludge and the wastewater. Usually, the tank is designed like a funnel, or embudo in Filipino, so that the settled sludge below can be easily extracted from its bottom part and transferred into the sludge holding tank, while the wastewater flows through the weirs on top of the tank into the aeration tank. So once the solids are removed, the wastewater will then flow to the secondary treatment. So this is the heart of the process, as this is where the organic pollutants are eliminated and the wastewater is treated. There are a great number of secondary treatment types, but for this presentation, we will be focusing on the biological aerobic treatment. So biological aerobic treatment entails the use of microorganisms which thrive in an oxygenated environment to remove organic pollutants. As you can see in the photo, the bubbles in the tank are from the injected air coming from blowers. So like us human beings, the microorganisms use oxygen to live and eat organic pollutants to survive. Actually, majority of our scope of work in operating a wastewater treatment facility is ensuring that the microorganisms are happy and satisfied. So from the aeration tank, the treated wastewater will then flow through a secondary clarifier. It has the same purpose as the primary clarifier, but it separates the activated sludge, which contain inorganics, organics, and the microorganisms from the treated wastewater instead. So the activated sludge is allowed to settle again prior transfer to the sludge holding tank, while the treated wastewater flows to the next process. Now, since there are two products from the secondary treatment, let us first discuss what happens to the treated wastewater. So once clarified, it goes through a disinfection tank where it is dosed with chlorine. As you can see in the photo, there are white dividers inside the tank. These are called baffles. They allow the treated wastewater to have at least 30 minutes of contact with chlorine prior being discharged. This is necessary to have an effective disinfection against pathogens in the treated wastewater. On the other hand, the sludge from the primary and secondary clarifiers, which have accumulated in the sludge holding tank, are thickened. This is the process of decreasing its water content prior dewatering. This can be achieved through the use of various equipment such as belt press, screw press, or a drying bed, among others. Dewatering is needed to yield biosolids, which are then hauled out and used as organic fertilizer. Now that you have seen the overview, let us proceed to discussing about the most common and widely used wastewater treatment technologies. So you will see that these technologies follow the same 4 treatment levels I have presented, but majority of their differences lie in the configuration of the biological aerobic tank. So we will be going through the 4 different technologies, starting with the conventional activated sludge. So for the conventional activated sludge, or CAS, same as what we have discussed earlier, you can see that the raw wastewater goes through screening and primary clarification prior to the biological aeration. Specifically, the microorganisms in the biological aeration tank are just floating about without any constraint and freely interacting with oxygen and the organic pollutants within the tank. The treated wastewater from the aeration tank then flows to the secondary clarifier before it is disinfected with chlorine and discharged as effluent into a receiving body of water. Meanwhile, the sludge from the primary and secondary clarifiers, which we call WAS, or waste activated sludge, are removed. You will also see a return line, or RAS, short for return activated sludge, from the secondary clarifier back to the biological aeration tank, since there is a need to resupply microorganisms to ensure that they are enough for the treatment. These microorganisms also have a lifespan, that's why it is necessary to replenish their population. The WAS, on the other hand, are then transferred into the sludge holding tank. Prior dewatering, the WAS are conditioned with polymer for a more effective solid separation process. The separated and dewatered solids, known as biosolids, are then hauled out by a third-party contractor for use as fertilizer, as mentioned earlier. You will also see that the separated solid wastes from the screening processes are properly discarded following the requirements of RA 9003. On the other hand, you will see that for the sequential batch reactor, or SBR, there is no secondary clarifier after the biological aeration tank, even if it follows all of the other treatment levels. This is because the secondary clarification process is already incorporated in the biological aeration tank. You see, from its name, the SBR is designed to treat wastewater by batches through a series of biological aeration tanks which operate on a fill and draw basis. Generally, the SBR is divided into 5 distinct periods, as you can see on the figure inside the red box, namely fill, react, settle, draw, and idle. During the fill stage, the wastewater is allowed to enter the tank up to a certain level. Initial mixing can already be triggered during this stage. Afterwards, it will undergo the react stage where mixing and aeration occurs. You will see those steps as steps 2 and 3 in the figure. Depending on design, those 2 can be incorporated as one step. After sufficient reaction time, the agitation will be stopped, meaning the mixing and aeration will be turned off and the solids will be allowed to settle, same as what happens in a secondary clarifier tank. The fourth stage, or draw stage, involves the removal of separated solids using a decanter, which could be fixed or adjustable pipes, valves, pumps, or weirs within the tank. This occurs while the treated wastewater is being discharged for disinfection before it is released as final treated wastewater. Finally, the tank becomes idle as it awaits to start the cycle again for the next batch of the raw wastewater. It is during the idle stage where wasting can be done to remove old sludge. Then, same as with gas, the waste-activated sludge undergoes thickening and dewatering prior disposal as biosolids, while those separated from the screens are disposed as solid waste. Now let us discuss the moving bed bioreactor, or MBBR. This one is close to my heart since this is the longest technology I have ever operated. So you will see that what it lacks compared to the conventional activated sludge configuration is the primary clarifier. Generally, there is no need for initial removal of raw sludge prior to the biological treatment since the biological aeration tank contains plastic media that allows for more microorganisms to propagate. If you will look at the red box on your screen, you will see that the white round media with divisions inside is where the microorganisms adhere to, like what you will see on the image behind it. More microorganisms can thrive due to the high surface area of the media. The increased volume of microorganisms allows for operation at higher suspended biomass while yielding increased solids removal, increased treatment capacity, and lower sludge production. Then, same as with gas, there is also a RAS line from the secondary clarifier to repopulate the microorganism colony, as well as a WAS line, which then flows into the sludge handling processes to produce the biosolids for hauling. As always, the solid wastes from the screens are also discarded properly. Finally, we have the MBR, or the membrane bioreactor. As you will see, there are no settling tanks in the MBR process. Instead, there is a membrane after the biological aeration tank. Actually, membranes could either be immersed in the aeration tank or placed as a side stream like the one shown in this diagram. So the membrane is semi-permeable, meaning it is selective in filtering particles that could separate minute particles ranging from ×10 to the -6 or smaller. The membrane filtration system can either be microfiltration or ultrafiltration. From the membrane, there is a RAS line that replenishes the microorganisms in the biological aeration tank. You will also see that the WAS line comes directly from the aeration tank, which is something different compared to the other technologies we have previously discussed. The WAS also flows through the same sludge holding, thickening, and dewatering prior being hauled out as biosolids. Another distinct characteristic of the MBR is the need to periodically clean or revive the membrane since some of the removed particles adhere to the membranes and lessen the effectivity of its treatment. Finally, the solids from the screens are discharged as solid wastes. Because of the pore size and selectivity of the membranes, the MBR is capable of yielding the highest treated wastewater quality compared to the other three that we have previously discussed. Now, since you more or less have an understanding of the different wastewater treatment technologies, let me now show you the relevance into the feasibility study that Aquagem has conducted. So last August 2020, Aquagem conducted a study on the feasibility of constructing a centralized domestic and commercial wastewater treatment plant for Panglao Island in Bohol. Considering that it is surrounded by water and that tourism is a major economic driver of the island, ensuring proper wastewater treatment and protection of its waters becomes all the more necessary and important. Of course, we don't want another Boracay incident with the improper untreated wastewater discharged directly into the ocean, possible spread of diseases, and possible closing of the island to happen. So the plant is projected to have a maximum capacity of 5 million liters per day, and Aquagem did a design for its phase 1 volume of 1 million liters per day, considering the CAS, SBR, MBBR, and MBR technologies. So apart from those, another technology called the BioCleaner was also considered since we are always on the lookout for new, emerging, and innovative technologies currently available in the market. So what made us decide to even consider BioCleaner among all the other emerging technologies nowadays? Well, it has a simple and straightforward process. Same as with the others, raw wastewater enters the plant through a screening process. One difference from the other technologies is that afterwards, it will flow through an anaerobic digester. Anaerobic means that there is no oxygen, either in molecular form or oxidized nitrogen species form, present in the tank. This is essential since there are special microorganisms in the BioCleaner technology that need this type of condition to thrive. After sufficient digestion, it will then flow through the biological aeration tank where BioCleaner technology is situated. The BioCleaner is a plug-and-blow technology. It utilizes saprobic bacteria that do not need intense oxygen dosing, thus eliminating the need for big blowers as it is capable of achieving more oxygen distribution while generating constant microbial growth. So I will let Sir Cecil discuss more about this since this is another topic that we will be presenting today. So same as with the others, after treatment with BioCleaner, the treated wastewater then flows through the chlorine contact tank prior discharge as effluent. Another major difference, aside from the elimination of big blowers, is that there are no WAS and RAS lines. Instead, we only have a return feed to the anaerobic digester to help propagate the microorganisms. But this removes the need for subsequent sludge handling and biosolids hauling, which have a significant operational costs reduction impact on the process. Then, same as before, there is still a need to manage the solid wastes from the screens. As in with any other feasibility study, Aquagem utilized a multi-criteria matrix to analyze the various technologies and help us impartially determine which one is best to use for the Panglao wastewater treatment plant. The performance of each technology in terms of its area requirement, ability to meet the new DOW 2016-08 effluent quality standards, energy and chemical consumptions, ease of operations, having at least 10 reference installations, being listed as a commonly accepted wastewater treatment technology and technical references, and stability of process were rated to evaluate how well they can meet the set standards for the Panglao wastewater treatment plant design. As you can see, both CAS and MBR garnered the highest ratings based on the multi-criteria analysis, while the BioCleaner came in last due to not meeting the standards of being a listed technology in wastewater technical journals and handbooks, and also scoring low on footprint and reference installations. However, aside from the multi-criteria analysis, another important factor considered was the investment and operational cost implications of each technology. In terms of area, you will see that the smallest land requirement would be for the MBR technology. However, it has the second highest capital expenditure needed, next to the BioCleaner technology, while the lowest will be for the CAS at 37 million pesos. Looking into the cost to operate each technology, you will see that, without a doubt, the smallest OPEX requirement would be for the BioCleaner technology, and that is without considering recycling yet. If we will factor in recycling based on the class of effluent after treatment with each type of technology, where Class A can be used as public water supply, Class B is for primary contact recreation such as swimming and bathing, and Class C is for boating, fishing, and irrigation, you will see that the highest savings would be for the MBR at 36 million pesos. However, if you will consider the net OPEX after savings, BioCleaner still proves to deliver the lowest operational costs. So what does that mean? Although the MBR and CAS technologies have scored high on the MCA and have notable advantages in area and savings and CapEx requirements, respectively, the results of the financial analysis show that the BioCleaner technology has the shortest ROI. Moreover, the Class A effluent quality that the MBR yields is too much for the Class B requirement of Panglao's surrounding waters. The overtreatment just translates to additional costs. Despite the high area and capital expenditure requirements of the BioCleaner technology, the savings from its annual operational costs compensates for the initial investment. Although it's scored low on the MCA because of its absence in technical references, we cannot close our doors on utilizing emerging technologies today, especially with the advent of technological advance in our modern world. So in conclusion, Aquagem Environment's feasibility study showed that the biocleaner technology is the most suitable technology for the Panglao wastewater treatment plant, since it is a modern, innovative, cost-effective, environment-friendly, and sustainable treatment solution which would not only benefit its residents but also the environment that we all share. So if you also have wastewater treatment requirements, we would love to do the same for you and help you in your endeavors. If you need more information or have queries that you would like us to answer, you may reach us through the following. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm hoping that I was able to impart my knowledge to you.
Ilagan, and I'm sure that it was quite comprehensive. Yeah. So as a follow-up, we shall have a more lengthy and more detailed presentation on biocleaner. So I give you back Engineer Cecil Corloncito. I think we are just transferring the hosting. So while waiting for Engineer Cecil to discuss more detailed the biocleaner. Okay, he's back. Thank you. So after this last presentation, we will be entertaining questions. So or you can send it through chat and I will read it for you. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so thanks, Maria. Thanks, Rose, again. Thank you for those who are able to give some questions. But this is up to our event. Kung sakaling lumampas tayo ay pwede naman kaming mag-extend. But for those people who have other appointments, pwede namang mabigyan kayo ng update kung meron pa. And after this presentation, we'll have question and answer. But let me present to you now about a technology that I was describing as too good to be true. Kasi may kasabihan na if it's too good to be true, it's not true. But because of COVID pandemic, it turned out na it was an opportunity in the midst of adversity. Kasi COVID pandemic, natanggong at na-lockdown at na-quarantine ako dito sa Melbourne. And I was really surprised kasi namimilit yung investor sa Panglao na gamitin yung technology na to. So, hindi nakasama sa scope kasi wala nga reference. Hindi ko ma-assess ng mabuti at ang time frame ay magsasubmit na kami. But I would say na because of COVID, meron ding positive na nangyayari for the wastewater treatment management. So the technology is called biocleaner. And I would say it's too good to be true because in my 35 years, take note, I'm old already, in my 35 years since I graduated in 1984 as a chemical engineer in the Cebu Institute of Technology, at wala na akong ibang trabaho kung hindi sa tubig, sa wastewater, sa environment. Ito'y hindi ako makapaniwala kasi ngayon ko lang siya natuklasan. At nung inintroduce ito, I already said in my assessment, there's no way. Especially that the people who are pushing for this in the Philippines, I was not convinced. I'm one person na hindi nako-convince because we engineers, is malinaw naman na dapat ma-convince. We are not really, yung lawyers na ang engineers kasi 1 + 1 = 2. So yun lang naman ang aming ebidensya na ipapakita. But this technology is something of a future of wastewater treatment. And let me present you this technology. So we created this kind of flyer called Revolutionary Wastewater Treatment Technology. Revolutionary, the word in itself, revolutionary, innovative. It has extremely low electricity. when extremely, dinescribe ko hindi lang low electricity, extremely low electricity. It can remove as high as 90% of electricity being used by your existing treatment facility. Or kung may nagde-design man yan, yung dinescribe na RIA na ibang mga treatment facility, wala nang makatalo dito in terms of low energy consumption. So that is very surprising. Another one is, wala itong biosolids, wala itong sludge and solids na nag-generate. At alam naman natin yung wastewater natin, ay meron talagang counting solids yan dahil galing sa mga CR natin yan, siyempre mga dumi at mga solids na iba, ay may solids talaga yan. Bakit wala itong solids? Oh, that's another surprising for me. That was another surprise for me when I assessed this technology. The next one is this can treat all and treat all. Lahat ng klaseng wastewater, kaya niyang i-treat yung technology na ito. At ito naman sa mga maintenance people, operations people, almost zero ang downtime dito, napakadaling i-maintain. This is a US patented technology na meron siyang built-in microbe colony that will eat up. Kakainin niya lahat ng dead matter in wastewater kasama ang solids in polluted waterways to become clean water. Absolutely, there's no management of solids, there's no byproducts of sludge, there's nothing. So Aquagem environment sa kakukulitan namin during the pandemic ay natuklasan namin, natutuo ang technology na ito because of existing facility nila all over the world for the last 10 years, including in the Philippines. So this was very surprising. Kung hindi ang COVID ito, talagang disregard na natin ito. At ito pa, binigyan pa tayo ng authorization as representative in Australia to promote this technology. Mabuti pa ang Pilipinas, meron ng installation nito. Ang Australia, wala. That's why the inventor of the technology decided to give Aquagem the opportunity to be representing this technology. We are not exclusive representative of this technology because we, Aquagem, can also do the other technologies presented by Engineer Naria earlier. Pero I'm emphasizing this technology as I mentioned kasi this is a breakthrough. This is going to be a breakthrough in wastewater treatment technology. Talagang pagka napatunayan ito at nakikita ito ng ibang mga designer, if I am the owner of a facility, then I will go for this technology because of the advantages mentioned above. So let me explain. Allow me to explain this technology. Kung hindi kayo mga engineer, I will try to explain this in a more layman's way. Si Naria was also asking na maintindihan ninyo yung mga technical terms. But kayong mga engineer, I would encourage you to challenge, ask me question about this technology. Hindi ko kayo tatantanan, sasagutin ko kasi napag-aralan namin ito ng gusto. At may nakita na kaming mga ebidensya ng aming mga wastewater na tinrate dito ng gusto talaga at nangyayari ang kanyang effectiveness. So ano ba itong technology nito? As Naria was mentioning, ang technology ay mayroong core screen, may primary treatment, may fine screen, may grit chamber, may primary clarifier. Ito yung describe ni Engineer Naria kanina. At let me tell you, ano ba ang technology na to? Itong dinescribe nito ay usually conventional activated sludge process. This is a flow diagram. Kung kayo ay, huwag na lang niyo tawagin ng Aquagem. Picture na lang ninyong process flow diagram na to. Pumunta na lang kayo ng ibang supplier. Kung hindi siya magbibigay ng kanyang design ng ganito, huwag ninyong bibilihin yan dahil hindi totoo yan. So ito yung technology ng complete wastewater treatment using activated sludge process. Kung activated sludge process, picture na ninyo ito, magtawag na kayo ng bidding. Basta kung wala silang ganito, ay hindi na sila makapasa. But I'm telling you, this technology about BioClear, something like revolutionize, change this management. And why? Because the new technology, or not new, the innovative technology removes the primary clarifier, removes the secondary clarifier, removes the sludge holding tank, the bell thickener. Kanina may question sa akin about process, marunong yata siya ng wastewater. Ngayon, pag ikaw ay nakakita nito, totoo ba ito na nire-remove ko na primary clarifier, secondary clarifier, inalis ko na lahat. So hindi ka rin gaano maniliwala kung totoo ba to. The same way that I felt last year when I was introduced to this technology. Ano na, aalisin na ito. Papalitan na ito ng biocleaner technology at ito na ang mangyayari sa process niya. So the process flow diagram becomes simplified. Dalawang tangke na lang, wala nang clarifier. Meron siyang anaerobic tank at meron siyang biocleaner tank. At of course, meron pa rin chlorine contact tank at meron pa rin siyang primary or preliminary treatment. So this is the simple process of the biocleaner technology that we are introducing to you. Now, lalo na kayong mga engineer na marunong sa wastewater, kung meron ng mga ano niyan, I ask you to challenge us about this and I will answer you the question on the question and answer. So, how does it look like? So, ganyan ang forma niya. At nung sinabi kong nandyan na yan sa Pilipinas, the inventor of this technology is selling this as a DIY unit, do-it-yourself unit. Kasi for the last 10 years, meron na silang ginawang dito, but they were selling this, maraming nagbibenta na dito as a DIY unit, do-it-yourself. Anong pagkakaiba ng Aquagem? Aquagem will design the whole treatment facility at ginagaranti din namin na gumagana yan yung buong design, hindi lang yung biocleaner. So, this is how it looks. Now, number 1, may mga numero dito, Aerogrid. So, I will discuss that later on, ano yung Aerogrid. But let me focus to you the number 2 and the number 6. So, yung number 2 ay called biotube. Ang number 6 ay called air blower. Yung air blower na yan, nakakonect dito sa biotube at nakakonect sa Aerogrid. Pero take note of the air blower. The air blower is 1.75 kilowatt. Kahit hindi engineer, naintindihan kung ano yung 1.75 kilowatt. Itong capacity ng treatment plant na ito, yung isa na nasa picture na ito, can cater up to 300 cubic meters per day. So, ang ibig sabihin, 300,000 liters per day, 300 cubic meters per day. So, if this can cater 1 or 300 cubic meters per day, ganon siya na treatment. At take note, ang blower niya is 1.75 kilowatt. Sa lahat ng dinidesign namin na treatment plant, in-install namin yung pinakapakita kong picture, yung mga 300 cubic meter per day na plant, pinakamahina yung 15 to 20 kilowatt. Ito ay 1.75 kilowatt lang. So, sa 1.75 compared to 15 to 20 kilowatt, ang laki na ng diferensya ng kuryente. Gumagamit ng kuryente. So, ang binabayaran mong kuryente nito, ang baba na. Hindi mo napatayin ito, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina na magtayo ka ng treatment plant, papatayin lang at DNR lang pumunta at saka pa i-on. Kung ito ang treatment plant mo, hindi mo na siya papatayin, parang ilaw na lang, 1.75 kilowatt lang ang kanyang capacity at 300 cubic meter per day. Anong ibig sabihin ng 300 cubic meter per day? Kung merong 3,000 na tao na nakatira sa isang lugar, 300 cubic meter per day ang treatment plant na yan. So malaki-laki na rin ito. So this is the biocleaner technology. It's a patented technology, my green patent rating A, using, take note, microbial remediation. Yung biotube, yung number 2. Microbial remediation. You heard Naria was saying saprubic bacteria. So ano ba itong biotube? The next slide would tell you what is inside the biotube. So on your right-hand side of your screen, kung naka-mobile kayo, medyo maliit. Kung nakaka-picture kayo, pwede nyo palakihin yan sa mobile, medyo maliit. On your right-hand screen, parang pellets siya. Inside the biotube are pellets. Parang pellets siya. But these are the house or in the biotube. Dito nakatira ang mga saprubic bacteria. If you Google saprubic bacteria is soil bacteria found in nature. Ang saprubic bacteria ay natutulog habang nandyan siya sa biotube, habang wala pa siya sa tubig. So ibig sabihin, ang description yan ay hibernating bacteria inside this biotube. Nag-hibernate siya habang wala pa siya sa tubig. Once on your left side, it comes in contact with water. Then it's kay natutulog ang nag-hibernate, nagigising siya at naghahanap. Siyempre, pag gising ka na, ang tao pag tulog, hindi gutom. Ang bakterya din pag tulog, hindi rin yan kumakain. Siyempre, natutulog tayo, hindi tayo kumakain. The same as in bacteria, pag nagising siya, naghahanap siya ngayon ng mga pagkain. So, yung bacteria na yan will exponentially, take note of my description, exponential. Hindi lang duplicate or triplicate. Exponential, walang tigil na pag-generate, manganak yung bacteria. And these microbes are proven to make the treatment well, or to make the treatment more effective. And these are microbes that are considered in America biosafety level 1. What do you mean by biosafety level 1? Siyempre, ang next question nyo, anong klase ng bacteria yan? Baka maputol ang kamay ko pag hinawakan ko ang wastewater. Baka ako'y magkasakit dahil nandiyan ang wastewater. Biosafety level 1 means it's not dangerous to human being, it's not dangerous to a person, it's not dangerous to the environment, it's not dangerous to animals and plants and animals. Biosafety level 4 is what COVID is all about. Biosafety level 4 ang COVID. Ang anthrax, biosafety level 5, and so on. So, biosafety level 1, these are facultative bacteria, a consortium of bacteria that can treat all kinds of wastewater. Yung brand na Biosafe can treat the natural domestic BOD. Yung Chem 5 nila na brand is can treat chemicals, hydrocarbons, and other inorganics. So, treat all kinds of wastewater. So, how does it work? Ganito lang yon. Kung may mga engineer dyan, let me explain about what do you mean by laminar flow. So, di ba ito yung pinakita natin na maliit na blower at dito yung biotube, ito yung aerogrid. Pag pinatakbo o lumulutang ang biocleaner, lumulutang siya. So, nung lumutang siya, yung mga existing wastewater treatment facility na pinresent ni Naria creates turbulent bubbles dahil sa diffusers and blower. Ito ay creating laminar flow. So, in engineering, in thermodynamics, there are two kinds of flow. Turbulent flow and laminar flow. Ang laminar flow is a quieter flow. Yun ang nakikreate ng biocleaner. Paano? Bubugahan niya ng hangin dito para ang bakterya doon sa biotube ay lalabas sa kanyang lungga at ang aerogrid naman ay para mag-create ng fine bubbles para mag-create nitong laminar flow. What this laminar flow creates is making the movement of bacteria dance like a laminar flow. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Tulad natin pag lumangoy at sumisid tayo sa dagat or sa swimming pool, pag nasa ilalim tayo, kung wala ka namang, anong tawag yan, scuba, ay ikaw ay pupunta sa taas para makahinga ka ng hangin. This technology creates the action of bacteria para pumunta ang bacteria sa surface para huminga siya ng hangin. So the technology makes the bacteria and the atmosphere, which has oxygen, to have an effective interface without the need of using fine or diffusers or big blowers. So ang action lang ng laminar flow ang dahilan bakit ang bakterya makakahinga, maghanap siya ng paraan na huminga sa atmosphere until yung bakterya ay nakakuha siya ng maraming oxygen, ay due to laminar flow, ang buong tangke ngayon ay masaturated ng bacteria filled with oxygen. Buhay na buhay yung bacteria na may oxygen at ready na siyang umatake ngayon sa mga waste. Kasi kung ang bacteria tulad ng tao, kung wala oxygen, hindi makahinga. Ang tao kung maglaro ng basketball, kahit gaano siya kagaling, wala siyang oxygen, lampas siya, hindi siya pwede. Ang bacteria din, kung kahit gaano siya gustong kumain, wala siyang oxygen, hindi rin siya makahabol ng mga kanyang kakainin. So, nagiging active ang bacteria at nag-generate ngayon ng maraming bacteria at kung ano man ang solids na nag-generate dito, kakainin at talagang uubusin niya lahat ng solids. So that's the description of a laminar flow. The bacteria interface and the oxygen is getting closer. Ibig sabihin, more effective ngayon ang interaction ng natural oxygen at yung bacteria. Now, is this true? I'm telling you that big wastewater treatment plants in the world doesn't have blower kasi pinalakihan nila ang tangke kasi they rely on the atmosphere of the oxygen. Maraming treatment plant that relies on the atmosphere. Now, this is how it works. The bacteria gets the oxygen from the atmosphere and makes it more effective through the laminar flow process na dinesign ng biocleaner. So, how does it work? The influent wastewater, yung mga waste natin galing sa ating mga bahay, sa ating mga industry, sa ating hotels at iba't ibang pinanggalingan, may mga bacteria na yon. Yung represented by this black negative, may bacteria na siya. Yung mga bacteria na galing sa saprubic, yung represented by this green positive, this saprubic bacteria or biocleaner bacteria from the biotube will outcompete, the word is outcompete the incoming bacteria. So, ibig sabihin, outcompete in eating the food. So, kung hindi na makakain yung mga negative bacteria dito or yung mga itim na bacteria, namamatay siya, nagugutom siya. Ang bacteria dito na green, ang talagang i-outcompete or may sinasabi pa nga sa akin, although I'm not an expert on microbiology, na yung mga bacteria na ito, kinukumbinsi daw ng mga green bacteria na maging pareho na tayo. So magiging saprubic ka na rin. So what happened is this will be saturated with good bacteria, good microbes. Kung hindi na makakain yung mga microbes na iba, mamamatay siya. Pagkapatay na siya, kakainin siya ng mga good bacteria. Pagka namatay na rin ang sarili, kasi siyempre ang bacteria parang tao, namamatay pagdating ng panahon, ay kahit pa marami siyang pagkain, nagigis siyang sludge, kakainin ng bacteria. And that is the explanation. The good microbes will digest the bad microbes, the dead microbes, and the good microbes thrives in this environment. From the aerogrid, the microbubbles from the aerogrid and the biotube. The good microbes also digest all the solids generated. So that is the reason wala na siyang settling tank. Wala nang sludge wala nang blower. That's the reason why bakit mababa siya. And that is the technical explanation. If you look at this, the influent with different kinds of bacteria, ang lumabas na lang dito sa effluent, yung pagpasok may iba't ibang bacteria, ang lumabas na lang, puro na lang siya good microbes. Okay. And that is the presentation of biocleaner. To summarize, this has a smaller footprint or land use, flexibility in relocation, pwedeng ilipat-lipat mo siya, environmentally independent, pwede siyang ilagay sa mga treatment facility na existing, at low maintenance cost. Siyempre, wala na siyang blower. There was a question earlier, kailangan ba natin ng odor control facility? And sinagot ko, depende sa technology, depende sa situation, at depende din sa capacity ng plant. Ang saprubic bacteria, when they digest the waste, will also remove the odor. Unlike other technology, yung mga SBR, pag napundo ang wastewater, nangangamoy yan. Ang biocleaner technology does not need odor control facility because the saprubic bacteria also digest the odor, ang source of odor. So of course, there's no sludge handling, wala ng chemical usage, and that is the advantage of this technology. To summarize a technical explanation why there is a low capex capital expense. No need for clarifiers, no need for sludge dewatering equipment, no need for blowers, big blowers, and air diffusers. Ang air diffusers are, kung expert ka ng wastewater, isa sa mga mahal na parts ng wastewater treatment facility. Why low OPEX? Wala nang malalaking blowers, wala nang dewatering equipment at mga clarifiers. O konti na lang ang equipment niya. So low na talaga ang operating expense. Tanungin naman ninyo ako, bakit walang blower? Walang air diffuser? Again, it utilizes the mixer. Hindi nga blower yung maliit na 1.75 kilowatt for bacterial movement para lang magkaroon ng laminar flow para ang bacteria nalanghap ng oxygen from the atmosphere effectively. Why no sludge? Ang saprobic bacteria, kakainin niya lahat ng dead solid matters including himself, ng dead bacteria. That is why no sludge is generated. And you know about microbiology. Continuous accelerated pace of bacteria, yung mabilis ang bacteria na naghanap ng pagkain, yun ang accelerated pace. With short stationary phase. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng stationary phase? Wala nang makain, wala nang waste. Kasi kung wala nang makain, stationary na ang bacteria hanggang mamatay. But not allowing the bacteria to form the flux. Once matay na yung bacteria, kakainin na naman niya. Di ubos kayong mga bacteria or mga solid. So this is the technical explanation why this technology really is the future technology, and we are going to tell you na hindi lang ito dahil sa libro, kung hindi meron ng installation at our people in the Philippines can really bring you. Kaya lang sa Manila lang yung installation ngayon. Kung gusto niyo malaki installation, mayroon sa China, nandoon sa Pakistan and Indonesia, at kung gusto mo sa Mexico, mayroon din, at gusto mo sa Honduras, mayroon din. Kaya lang, sa mga maliliit, mayroon lang kaming ma-present doon sa Maynila at mayroon kaming engineer na naka-assign kung sakaling magka-interest kayo niya. So, hindi lang BOD ang pinag-usapan natin dito. Meron din tinatawag natin policing of ammonia kasi ang DENR, napakahigpit na ng ammonia. 0.5 na ang ammonia at ang 0.5 ammonia sa sa Australia, drinking water na ito. So, ang technology na to, ang biocleaner will have this technology. Let me explain. Ang wastewater, mayroong ammonium, nagiging nitrate, nagiging nitrite. Nitrite, nagiging nitrate. Then, kung during the nitrification process, ang BOD, which is the food in the wastewater, ang bacteria, hanap siya ng oxygen. Wala namang oxygen doon sa anaerobic bacteria, anaerobic tank. Di-break niya yung nitrate para magkaroon ng oxygen, at ang nitrogen gas hindi naman soluble in water yan, pupunta sa atmosphere. Kaya nare-remove yung nitrogen. Yung denitrification ng bacteria, mayroong bacterial colony, aerobic, anoxic. So, combination ang bacteria into aerobic and anaerobic. Yun ang ating biocleaner. Now, how does the biocleaner bacteria works? Yung isang layer ng biocleaner, mayroong denitrifying effects ng bacteria. Yung isang layer, mayroong nitrifying effect para magkaroon ng nitrification. Yung isang layer has phosphorus absorbing microorganism. One layer of aerobic bacteria also removes BOD. In most cases, ang anoxic zone is the biobed na ang ammonia is converted into nitrates and nitrogen gas is the product. So ang biocleaner, meron silang ammon technology about this, to remove ammonia na napakababa ng requirement ng DENR. Phosphorus removal. Ang phosphorus removal, pwedeng lagyan natin ng coagulation yan, yung existing wastewater. Ang coagulation para bumaba ang phosphate at phosphorus para alisin ng naturally sa settling. Wala nang settling tank yung pag nalagay na ka ng coagulation, kailangan mo ng settling tank. Kung existing na ang treatment plan ninyo, pwedeng walang biocleaner, alisin niyo by adding coagulant. Ang problema ng coagulant addition is dadami ang sludge mo kasi pinapababa mo ngayon para pinisettle mo ang phosphorus. Saan mo naman dalhin yun? Kailangan mo ng dewatering equipment. Pero ang alternative ng biocleaner, pwede silang gumawa ng post-filter biocleaner para to remove phosphorus using ion exchange. But this is also not cheap. This is doubling the price to remove phosphate in a wastewater. So we can design a combination of biocleaner and traditional technology. We can design a full wastewater treatment using biocleaner yung tinatawag na sa pruvic bacteria amon to and post filter, we can design that according to your needs. Now, ito yung mga ion exchange. Let me not explain this properly kasi Let me go to the case study sa Honduras. Bisita kayo ng Honduras. Ganito yung nangyari sa Honduras. Merong lagoon, 2. Hindi na lagoon ang forma. Yan, facultative lagoon. Napakarumi na sa Honduras ito. Ayan, nilagyan ng biocleaner. May algal bloom na. Yung green is an algal bloom. So, after that, they put biocleaner. And the next slide, nakita ninyo malinis na ngayon ang wastewater. So, ang resulta, before biocleaner, hindi makakapasa yung sa Honduras na treatment facility. Nung naglagay ng biocleaner, puro pumasa na ngayon sa standard ng COD, BOD, oil and grease. 95 reduction of chemical oxygen demand, 97 reduction of BOD, 99% reduction of oil and grease, 99% reduction of coliforms. Now, mayroon nagtanong sa akin, mayroon ba yung DENR accreditation? Wala, hindi naman na-accredit ang DENR ng technology. Nag-a-approve lang ng DENR kung pumasa ka ng discharge permit. Ang problema lang sa DENR is kung hindi nila ma-verify ang treatment plant at pumasa yung wastewater nila na pinadalang sample, pwede nilang bigyan kayo ng discharge permit. Pero I am suggesting to the DENR, kung wala ng treatment plant, kung hospital ka, nakapasa, there's something wrong with that. So, environmental technology verification was issued by the Department of Science and Technology, and hindi na tayo mag-ano dito dahil DOST na nagbigay sa technology nito because it was issued nang naglagay sila ng testing sa Pilipinas. So with that, I think I was able to make the presentation. Before I finish, let me show you a comparison of an actual design ng SBR at BioCleaner. Yung electromechanical works, 22 million sa SBR based sa Japanese technology. BioCleaner, 20 million. Ang difference, 2 million. So sa capex pa lang, mataas na ang SBR. Civil works, laki ng area ng SBR na binigay ng Japanese technology. Yung BioCleaner, mababa ang area, so 4 million ang diferensya. So total, merong 6 million difference. So kung kayo ang bibili ng treatment plant, pipiliin ninyo ang BioCleaner is in operation pa. So if you look at the operating cost, merong electricity, chemicals, maintenance, manpower, ang total. So ito yung assessment namin sa actual na design na ginawa natin late last year. Isa sa ating mga potential client, which is in the Philippines. So, there is a 10-year warranty pa ang BioCleaner. So, ibig sabihin, sino bang nagbigay ng warranty sa inyo dyan na more than 1 year? Believe ako, itong BioCleaner nagbigay ng 10 year. Ang ibig sabihin na yon, ang 10 year ay hindi mauubos yung bacteria, hindi papalitan. Okay, so we challenge you. We can offer you pilot project as part of the contract and don't get payment if it does not work. Pwede tayong mag-pilot project. Kung hindi gumagana, huwag kami isauli yung pera, i-insured natin yan. Kung hindi gumagana. Now, when it works, either you pay the cost of the pilot, kasi ang pilot is maliit. Siyempre, gumana, hindi naman pwede yung pilot pagaganahin mo. Ano lang yun, maliit na bagay yun, maliit na capacity. Kasing laki lang ng mga 4 to 5 inches na BioCleaner. Will you sign a new contract with us with a larger capacity? Bigay na namin yung pilot na test na ito ay 50,000 pesos lang ito. Kayo na ang mag-test with our monitoring. We will be selling. We are not going to give you this for free, but we are giving you the pilot para patunayan ninyo sa inyong company na gumagana ito or hindi. Okay, so with that, these are our numbers. Pwedeng picturean nyo ito at pumunta ka sa amin kanina. Kanina, meron taga CDO na nagsabi na tawag daw sila sa amin. Kayong taga Aquagem dyan sa Bohol, bakit hindi nyo sinasagot? Tawag daw sila sa
We'll give
sa
them
atin.
time to do that.
Okay, so we, for the interest of time, lumampas na ako ng 5 minutes and wala ng question and answer, pero
we will do it later. We apologize for our 7-minute extension. We are really trying to be mindful of time. So we shall have our closing first, so that those who needed to be excused, you are excused. So I think our The representative of Mayor Gandamra has an equally important appointment after this. So we will still do the question and answer after our closing remarks and all the other details. So in behalf of Mayor Gandamra, we shall have his executive assistant to deliver the closing remarks in his behalf. So may I give you Mr. Jerome Clark Maglahos to have the closing remarks. And thank you, sir, for staying
Yes, ma'am.
until the end. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Before we proceed with the closing remark, let me just express our apologies for Mayor's absence this morning. Apparently, he has an equally important meeting to attend to. It's about the arrival of Secretary Del Rosario sometime next week. So, Mayor is in a meeting with Task Force Bangon Marawi to discuss his activities for next week. But nonetheless, again, I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. So at this point, let me just read to you the message of Attorney Mahulosman Gandamra, the City Mayor of the Islamic City of Marawi, for his closing remarks in today's webinar. So, to the Mayor of Cagayan de Oro City, Honorable Oscar Moreno, to the Regional Director of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Environmental Management Bureau, Engineer Reynaldo Digamo, to our friends from Aquagem Environment Australia, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a pleasant morning to all. We have been gathered here this morning for the webinar on innovative wastewater management led by our partner, the Aquagem Environment Consultancy Services. This is very timely and relevant, especially in the height of the rehabilitation and reconstruction of our city after what has transpired some 3 years ago during the dreaded Marawi siege. During my first term as the mayor of the Islamic City of Marawi, one of the pressing issues that we had to face during my stint as a local chief executive was the delivery of safe and potable water to all the constituents of the city. While it is still one of the major points that we need to further develop, little by little, we are solving the problem by providing the proper intervention to address the needs of our residents for clean water to drink. I personally believe that access to clean water sources is a basic human right, and thus, we in the LGU are doing our best in order to materialize this vision. But we need to ask first, why is water unclean to begin with? I believe that one of the main causes of water to be impure and unsafe for human consumption is the mismanagement of the disposal of waste. This is entirely the reason why one of the main components of the comprehensive rehabilitation of Marawi City is a solid waste management project. The local government unit of Marawi, in partnership with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, EMB 10, has started implementing the various plans under the said project. The project includes the closing of the open dump site located in Barangay Papandayan and will start rehabilitating the site. Currently, the procurement of land for the construction of sanitary landfill is on the works. Heavy equipments were also procured, and the said project has also hired various personnel in order to ensure cleanliness with the different corners of the city. Most importantly, the development of a 20-year comprehensive solid waste management plan is currently on the works, and LGU Marawi, DENR, as well as Aquagem Environment Consultancy Services are working hand in hand in order to finalize everything. Apart from the ensuring that solid waste in the city are properly managed, the government also ensures to supply the residents of Marawi City with safe and clean water through the Emergency Assistance for the Reconstruction and Recovery of Marawi project, as funded by the Asian Development Bank. The reconstruction and rehabilitation of water supply infrastructures are now currently underway. Moreover, the construction of sewage treatment plant is also currently in development in order to make sure that wastewater from the city is properly treated. These and many more are currently being implemented in the city, and to ensure one thing, provide the people of Marawi with safe and clean water to consume. While we are yet to complete these various projects for the people of our city, I am certain that inshallah, we shall witness Marawi City reborn from the ashes and shine its glory once again. I am hopeful that every resident of the city will live in a clean community with access to safe water sources. With this, I would like to close this event with a reminder that all of these visions can only be realized through our continued partnership. This collective goal is something that we should all bear in our minds and hearts. We should all get our hands on deck and make the impossible possible. Thus, we should all understand that the first step to materializing our dreams of providing every citizen with safe water sources is to stop dreaming and start working. Again, my heartfelt gratitude goes to all of you who have made this virtual gathering possible. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the message of Marawi City Mayor Attorney Mahul Usman Gandamra. So, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Sir Jerome. Can you please pass on to him our gratitude and how his closing remarks open a different mindset, that we assure him that we will be in his journey. You know, his mission, he mentioned the word mismanagement, and hand in hand. So with the 100 and now 96 participants, we hope that we will be with the mayor in his vision, that we will be managing, we'll try to manage the wastewater, right? Starting from our household. Imagine these 96 participants starting with a household. It will have a ripple effect. How we can help in the correct and the right management of our waste. So thank you once again for that beautiful closing remarks, sir. And thank you. And those people who needed to be excused, we understand that some of you have prior appointments on the set after the time that we have set. But we have the luxury of time. Aquagem has the luxury of time to stay. So those who would like to stay and have some questions, before we go to the question and answer, any parting words, Cecil, while the others?
I think it's almost 12 o'clock na doon. At hindi wala na silang appointment ngayon, hindi kakain na lang yan sila. Kasi sa atin, kailangan kumain ng alas 12. So, kailangan mag-question sila ngayon, magpagutom muna sila by asking the question para mapabusog natin. Baka meron silang mga urgent needs. Kasi hindi natin mahabol lahat. We entertain 1 to 5 questions if it's possible.
Yes.
At after this, I am suggesting our IT na i-present pa niya further yung interview at saka yung ibang natin. If they stay, kasi hindi natin papatayin yung Zoom. So we can start the answer and question ngayon. Kung gusto nilang mag-question live ngayon, let's entertain them.
I actually have a few questions here that I was able to get through the chat. So we would like to say goodbye. If this Sir Jerome would like to, excuse me, understand that you have an appointment. And I can see some people still traveling. We appreciate your time that in spite of, I can see Ma'am Jackie Lou still in a moving car. Salamat, maraming salamat, just by listening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Marami po tayong natutunan today. Kahit ako, ang dami ko ring natutunan. So I have a few questions here that I was able to get through the chat. First one, itong, sorry. Someone was requesting when the project engineer will be doing the inspection. I am not sure if that's a question. If it is a question, just please unmute and you can just join.
No, I suggest, Sister Rose, that those who have pressing question now will ask. Kasi yung naka-question sa chat, pwedeng makuha na natin at masagot natin sila kaagad. But now, if they have pressing question, you can... No, I mean those who are present.
I am reading it in their behalf to facilitate. So one question, in bioreactor process, which one is best to use for aeration? Is it the aerators or diffusers?
The answer to that question is depends on anong technology. Kung ang technology pinresent ni Naria is yung 4 na technology na SBR, then they will use aerators and diffusers. But kung ang biocleaner ang gamitin, walang diffusers ang biocleaner. So, aerators lang ang meron. So, depende sa technology na gamitin. That's the answer to that question.
Okay, another one. After the watering process in solid stream, how are you going to treat the treated sludge? Are you going to incinerate it or do a sludge transport?
The treated sludge is considered toxic and hazardous waste, and they are sometimes called biosolids. Yung treated sludge na biosolids, there are two opportunities there. It's either it will be soil conditioner or it can be discharged to a landfill. Wala na ibang papupuntahan doon. Pangatlo is pwede mong gawing hollow blocks yan kung gusto mo, pero that could entail another technology. And now, the biosolids management is one of the most important management ng wastewater treatment plant. Pero ang biosolids ay wala na sa biocleaner. So wala ka ng sludge ngayon kung biocleaner ang pipiliin ng technology ninyo. So the biosolids can be used again as soil conditioner, fertilizer. Basta tama lang ang kanyang quality, mayroon ding susunding quality. The problem in the Philippines, wala siyang biosolids policy. So we can use the policy of Victoria or the state of Victoria para to help industry. In fact, mayroon tayong offer ngayon sa Maynila because they are one of the biggest generators ng biosolid sa Metro Manila.
Okay, thank you. I hope those two questions have been addressed. Now, we still have about 86 participants. Like Mr. Engineer Carloncito said, we can answer a few questions. Feel free to unmute and just put forward your question. In any dialect, kahit po kahit yung sarili natin, masarap pakinggan ng mga sariling
Bisaya pwede.
Bisaya pwede. Masagot po yan. So, kung
Any questions from your end? Yung LGU, do you have questions? Kasi after this event, we will be getting your names and we can help you come up with feasibility study kung kailangan ng mga LGU. So, any questions from your end?
Yes, I heard someone. Sige po, magsalita lang.
Morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
So, sino yan?
Paki-introduce na lang po. Kasi yung mga screen, marami.
Did you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Yung paki-introduce na lang, sir. Yung po, Sir Edwin. Okay.
I'm Engineer Edwin Juan, Environmental Engineer working in Qatar in water treatment facility in Ashkelon, owned by KP.
You're in Qatar now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, assalamualaikum in Qatar.
Yes, and then my company, sir, is KP Stickers in Singapore, and we are operating the water treatment Qatar itself. So my question, sir, is by using biocleaner, do we need to have filtration and UV? Or
Sino, anong pangalan mo? Si
Edwin Hardin.
Edwin? Ikaw pala yun, Edwin. Edwin is a technical person. Ang question mo, Edwin, ay kung using, can you repeat that again because I was muting the may maingay kanina?
yes, sir.
Ano yung question mo, Edwin?
My question, sir, is here in our water treatment plant, we use the granular medium, meaning to say we use the sun for filtration before going to our filtration process, washing process, and we also have the UV. So if we tend to use the bio cleaner, we still need to apply filtration and UV after we treated the sewage effluent, the final effluent.
Initially, if you are using biocleaner, yung filtration at UV mo ay tertiary treatment na yan. Ang ibig sabihin, after aeration, pupunta yan sa filtration at sa UV. Ang biocleaner, pagka ginawa natin yan, in-apply dyan sa planta ninyo, papatayin mo yung blower mo, biocleaner na lang, at wala na siya ngayong sludge. Ano ang ipipilter mo? Wala ka nang ipipilter. So, you can still use the filtration, but the backwashing process will not be often kasi konti na lang ang maiwan na sludge. Maaring may mga heavy metals yan na pwedeng i-filter pa. The UV is still be used because the function of the UV is to kill the bacteria. Kasi sinabi natin maraming bacteria ang biocleaner pero may standard naman bacteria to discharge. So yung mga residual bacteria, kailangan papatayin siya ng disinfection through UV chlorination or ozonation. So yung question, that question is very valid para sa ibang mga treatment plan na sa Pilipinas. He's talking in Qatar. Ang treatment plan na dinescribe ni Engineer Naria kanina yan. So ibig sabihin, except for the temperature sa isang lugar, kasi sa Qatar mainit, pag mainit na husto, ay ang treatment plan hindi ganong effective kung mainit na mainit. Kung sobra namang lamig din, hindi rin ganong effective ang treatment plan. Ang Pilipinas, kaaya-aya na lugar para sa mga bakterya, lalo na sa biocleaner. My problem in Qatar probably would be, can the bacteria thrive in a Qatar environment na sobrang init? I would say yes, if we are going to control the aeration tank doon sa Qatar. So that's the question. My side question to Edwin, nasa Qatar siya pero nakita mo may flag siya ng Philippines. So napaka nationalistic ni Edwin. So Edwin, regards mo ako diyan sa mga salamalaikum diyan, marhaba diyan sa Qatar. At saka salamat sa pag-attend.
Yes, sir. Last question, sir. Last question. Sa bio-cleaner, kailangan pa ba ng RASWAS? O hindi na?
I think ipasagot ko ito ni Naria. Nandiyan ba si Naria?
No, she actually has excused herself. So
okay, I will answer that.
Cecil will be able.
Ang meaning ng RAS is return activated sludge. Ang meaning ng WAS is waste activated sludge. Wala ng sludge ang biocleaner. The answer to the question, no, you don't need that. Pero meron siyang requirement ang biocleaner ng return. Hindi sludge, pero i-return yung bacteria sa anaerobic tank.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any questions so far sa iba? Sa ibang nandito pa? I would be asking questions sa mga umaattend. Nandyan si may taga CDO Pulumedic Medical Plaza at nakikita ko siya at kailangan niyatang magkaroon ng wastewater yung kung meron na ba silang wastewater. Do you have question, ma'am? Can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello. So go ahead kasi nakikita ko
yes.
Pulumedic. Ang mga hospital kasi
Yes, sir,
okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir, we have existing wastewater facility, but I think we need to upgrade for the 2016 standards sa DNR. Ang akong ginapaminaw lang is sa among other hospital called Polymedic. Limited man gud so maayo tong isa nga yung na-discuss na for pwede siya sa gamay nga mga location. So I'm still kanang naminaw pa ko para sa mga unsa pay other number there.
Yeah, we have visited your site and we can really offer you. But during that visit, we did not have the biocleaner technology. So your existing plant, kung gusto niyo magtipid ng kuryente, we offer you the biocleaner technology. Kahit bago pa yung planta niyo, that's not a waste of time or waste of money kasi it will reduce your operating cost. Thank you. Anong name mo? Okay, can you, Dodong, can you take note of the question? Okay. Any more questions? I would like to acknowledge Modisto Clarin of the city of Cagayan de Oro. Sila yung in charge sa Environment and National Resources Office. Nakaka-question ba? Wala. Oh, come on, nagba-backfire yung I think it's the internet.
There might be two devices open or side by side. If we pick up ng
Okay. Any more questions from the participant? There are still 77 participants who are still staying.
27, yes.
If there are questions, I need a question from LGUs. Maybe the LGU from Tagum will share kung anong gusto nilang makuha sa atin na nandyan pa sila. Nandyan din si Maria Luisa Martinez na nagre-request na umatin dito, baka interesado siya. O meron taga Makati, LGU. Dito. You can ask your question, feel free to ask your question because sa buong Pilipinas, this is an opportunity na binigay namin sa inyo. At nandyan din si Mayor Vicente Ayuban sa Bohol. Hold on. So, we offer the services to LGU and industry. Meron bang taga-industry dyan sa CDO or sa Region 10? Can ask the question. Si Marlene Benedicto is raising her hand. Marlene, go ahead. Can you ask the question?
Hi, Sir Cecil. Kumusta?
Hi. Nakalimutan ko na, Marlene, yung ano mo. Baka gusto mong i-video para hindi ko makalimutan.
Actually, I'm working from home. Medyo...
Okay. Marlene, do you have questions? So go ahead, Marlene.
Yeah, we have met naman po during PCEAS.
So you are based in where?
Bauer.
Yes, I remember now from Bauer.
Thank you.
Rose, itong Bauer ay ating competitor ito. Sila ay designer ng SBR. Now, itong Bauer, wala siya nagawa ngayon.
It's, sir, Bauer.
Si Bauer sa atin kasi pagka narinig nila ang biocleaner, i-offer din nila ito. Diba? Siyempre, magiging cooperator na natin o coordinator or collaborator na natin itong Bauer. But honestly, I've known Bauer for many years and they are really very good. They have been successful. They have treatment plants all over the world in Middle East. Go ahead, Marlene.
Thank you, sir. It's on correction lang po. It's Bauer Dynamic SPR, sir. We don't have SPR, but Dynamic SPR.
Ganun ba?
Yes, sir. It's a different from the SPR.
Sige. Go ahead. So, do you have question, Marlene?
So, sir, I'm just curious about, as you have mentioned earlier, that yung mga bacteria natin is nagtatribe. Kung sa swimmer, you will take the oxygen from the air.
Tama
po ba? So, ayun, na-curious lang ako, pag sa summer po ba, may epekto po ba yung quality ng effluent? Kasi di ba yung dissolved oxygen at summer is lower?
Yes, but we have designed it at the worst condition. Hindi natin siya dinidesign at the average condition. So kung ang summer ay tama ka, ay ang lesser ang oxygen na makukuha sa bacteria, we have designed hindi gaano mahirap sa Pilipinas kasi hindi siya ito challenging yung sa Middle East. Pero sa Pilipinas, no, it's not so challenging. Kasi half is hindi naman gaano mainit, pero half din is rainfall event. So the answer to the question, yes, we have designed that at the worst. We can design that at the worst condition sa requirement, pero we have always considered yung design, yung temperature ng isang lugar.
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
Salamat din, Marlene.
Ingat po kayo, Sir Cecil.
Kaming requirement ng dynamic SBR. Halimbawa, ayaw nila biocleaner. Pwede bang bigyan mo ako ng indent na mas mura yung pagbili ko sa iyo? Tapos kayo na ang gagawa, bigyan mo lang ang Aquagem ng referral fee?
Of course naman po, sir. Pwede naman pong may arrangement naman po.
Opportunities, Marlene, this 2021, marami tayong requirement. And we are looking forward na sa totoo lang, ang biocleaner technology would not be a good, an easy sell kasi ang mga consultant, lalo na sa Philippines, kahit dito sa Australia, would not be recommending something na hindi pa nila, wala sa libro at hindi nila na But we can offer yung sinasabi, we are challenging you that we can offer that pilot project na pwede ninyong i-incorporate sa inyong design itong aming biocleaner. And it's good for us kasi kami ang source ng biocleaner and it's good for you kasi kung ako naman ang may-ari ng industry, gusto ko talaga ng operating cost ng aking wastewater treatment facility ay mas mababa.
Yes po. Everybody naman po kasi cost involved po yan.
Okay, so thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Marami pang nandyan. May 69 pa katao. Let me ask Probinsya Ganob of Bemo sa Bohol ito. Siya yung head ng Bohol Environmental Management Office, and I'm going to challenge Bohol Environmental Management Office to the able leadership of Governor Artiap na they have to secure the potential support from Aquagem kung sakaling gusto natin makatulong diyan sa Bohol. Okay, can I put you on the spot if you have question, Tata Probinsya Ganob?
Good morning. Yes, sir. Wala sa ako'y question, sir.
Why?
Thank you.
Totoo ba yung lahat ng sinasabi? Maybe you should have to ask a question how we can help Bohol in propagating what we are offering to LGUs. Kasi what we are doing in Bohol is we are just going from one LGU to another, and we need support from the national, from the provincial government, and to the able leadership of Governor Yap in order to make things happen. Water management, wastewater management, solid waste management. Okay, salamat sa pag-attend. We want questions from...
When are you going to visit Bohol para magkita kanigo para maistorya ni mo siya?
No, I'm more effective online now than visiting because without vaccine, I cannot travel. So, by the way, for the information of everyone, I'm based in Melbourne, Naria is based in Melbourne, and now Rosana Balot is based in Perth. But look, because of technology, it looks like nagkaisa tayo dito dahil sa COVID at nagkaintindihan tayo sa ating mga sinasabi tungkol dito. Any more question from MPDC Pangantukan? Do you have question? MPDC Pangantukan. Alam ko itong Pangantukan na ito kasi nasa ito I think sa Bukidnon ba itong Pangantukan?
Thank you, Sir Cecil, ha?
Ay, salamat din. Any questions? So far, if there are no more questions, then we will ask Ismael to remain to show the remaining interview and the rest of the show. Pero I think lunchtime na rin. Kami dito sa Australia. What time are you there, Sister Rose?
Same ng Philippine time.
Kami dito alas 3 na. Pero alam mo naman sa Melbourne, walang time kung kailan mag-lunch.
Oo. So Cecil, it's good. So just before we end, I'd like to thank everyone, yung 67 of us today na natitira pa. And in behalf of Aquagem, we would like to thank you very much. And I hope yung ating take home, something to take home from all the presenters, yung mga messages na binigay sa atin. At sabi nga ni Naria, we have our social responsibility. So tayong mga 66, we are not going to be very ambitious today that we will be making leaps and bounds. So just baby step. When we go home to our own household, tayo ng less rubbish, especially yung plastic. For plastic to decompose, it will take 1,000 years. Sa landfill yun, ha? So ako, natuto lang ako sa Aquagem. I was very generous to myself in using plastic. Pero nung malaman ko na ang mga effect ng mga plastic sa environment and all water waste, and everything, naging very conscious ako at naging yung aking pagiging social responsibility or being a social responsible person ay natutunan ko. So pag uwi natin yung ating household, ang commitment natin and advocacy now ay ang right management ng ating mga waste, personal, kahit personal lang. So thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a safe trip back to your own home.
Sister, bago i-close mo, I think we need to recognize kasi may certificate of appreciation sa mga speakers. Let me show na lang dito yung mga nila, yung mga certificate nila at para makita din ng lahat at maka-picture sa certificate nila. The certificate of appreciation are being sent to those who
And certificate of
Uh,
attendance, certificate of participation or attendance.
Certificate of attendance will be issued to each and everyone separately, but certificate of appreciation goes to Attorney Major Yu Gandamra. Ipapadala natin itong certificate nito as guest speaker during the pre-webinar on innovative wastewater management held on January 15, 2021. Signed by yours truly, and that's another certificate. Another certificate of appreciation is issued. I think I have to share this to the group para is issued to where is this certificate? To nakita ba natin?
Yes, it's here.
Oscar Moreno for from Aquagem Environment, certificate of appreciation. This certificate is presented to Honorable Oscar Moreno as guest speaker during the pre-webinar on innovative wastewater management held on January 15, 2021, signed by yours truly. Another certificate of appreciation is issued also to the EMB director. EMB director, we wish him well kasi nag-text yan na mayroon siyang nandyan siya sa hospital. We wish him well. Certificate of appreciation for sending the representative si Engineer Suan as guest speaker during the pre-webinar on innovative wastewater management held on January 15, 2021, signed by yours truly. And yes, that's it. Thank you very much, and I'll give you the final floor, Mr. Ross. And,
Yes,
and thank you for everyone for staying. And if you can stay, still stay. The remaining interview with Mang Tani Cruz will still be aired by Ismail. Okay, take it away, Sister Rose.
Thank you once again, everyone, and we finish the rest of the interview with Mang Tani. And another thing, with Aquagem, we are in the planning stage, so we might be organizing webinar on ISO that will help you with your personal growth in your career, because I can see that there are a lot of people who are interested in being leaders. We will be having some more webinars and more. So if you are interested to join or enroll in our webinar, so just email. We have our website, Aquagem, and we conduct ISO trainings. I tell you, I attended ISO training of Engineer Cecil, and it helps me in my growth, in my own personal career. And the good thing about this ISO training is it is not attached to your place of work. It is in yourself. It's going to be a built-in part of your character, ethics. So I highly recommend our ISO training. So for more details, you can just send emails to our business email address that had already been put on screen. So thank you once again to these 59 people. Enjoy the rest of the day, and Aquagem will always be at your service. Thank you, everyone. So
Mel, you cut it for remaining interview. Thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Aquagem Environment. Environmental, Engineering, and Management Consultancy. We offer ISO management systems, legal compliance, water and wastewater solutions. Aquagem Environment. Leading you to a sustainable future.